Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Tony and Truckin, of Yeehaw Trucking Company, of the multi-million-dollar, multi-wreck goddamn delivery company. No, we're done with that. We're not doing those wrecks anymore. No more. Anyways, folks, thank you for joining us. If you tuned in yesterday, you saw what a disaster. Like, that is not exaggeration. It's a disaster. If you haven't seen, oh Lord, we were doing a delivery from Yuma, Arizona to Denver, Colorado, and it was for fruit juice. Oh man, I can't even talk about it. It's tearing me up inside. But yes, flipped the truck not once but twice. And what else happened? Oh yeah, then we get the trailer hits the side of a tunnel and completely ruins it. So what should have been about a $50,000 payday for us ended up being about a $150,000 payday for them. And they got the damn fruit juice, so that's a bullshit deal. But we're back today. If you checked out last night, you know we ended off in the middle. We were too tired to continue. But you know what? Tony doesn't stop for no one. Let's go ahead and hit play.
Oops, in the middle of that. Here's
the
Sycamore story. There's a quarterback out there, a kid by the last name of Holtzclaw. His father gave a in-depth story of how the Bishop Sycamore people, he said that is the biggest joke of a high school football program that's ever been. They played 2 games in 2.5 days this weekend, one of which was played on ESPN, who obviously, awful announcing is just embarrassing ESPN right now, awfulannouncing.com. They went out there and they were fodder on Sunday afternoon for none other than IMG Academy. They played 2 games this weekend like they're a baseball team, hundreds of miles apart,
right.
Matt Dixon. I mean, it's like those old...
That's
just the top layer. I mean, they have about 30 players.
Yep.
They have about 20 helmets among them. They're slinging helmets around with, changing them. They have guys who were like failed JUCO players.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, Russ Probst is even amazed by it.
They told the father of that quarterback said, he told somebody, he said, I don't know if I'd be playing them. And they said, why? You have sour grapes? He said, no, they got guys in their 20s on their football team. He said they literally have guys in their 20s.
50.
They got guys in their 20s, which begs the question, is that where our one-time, what was that kid's name, Matt, that came in here like 80 pounds overweight? His name's already escaped me.
Oh, J.J. Peterson was their starting linebacker Sunday.
I didn't like that joke as much as Tony.
I love stuff like that. It reminds me of that Mouse McFadden guy. No, it was Mouse something. He was a club fighter. They come to find out that he was fighting on all these assumed names, and he fought like 500 professional fights. He'd get knocked out 3 times in a week, Matt, this dude.
Stop and sleep in about 4 hours.
David Letterman had him on one time. And
we got a fake high school using like 24-year-old JUCO players. We got South Carolina starting a grad assistant who sucked it at the FCS level. I mean, it's incredible. College football is the greatest sport in the world.
No question about it. So let's talk about that. South Carolina has named a starter, Brian Hartman. Are you
there
impressed
you see it. We're taking
with the
some
new era of
forklifts
football
to San Francisco.
at South Carolina, where they brought a kid in to be
some
a
whales. They got to
graduate
get off the
assistant coach.
beach. I don't know if you'd use a forklift.
And
for that,
3 weeks
that
ago,
was
he had a
shit
whistle
joke.
around his neck, and today he's their starting quarterback, Bri. Is that a good sign at South Carolina for what was left there by the previous regime?
Well, it would have been a good sign that he showed up on Tennessee's campus in the last couple years with Gitmo over there. Maybe he could have Well, never mind.
I don't know. Matt, could that guy have beaten Gitmo out in your humble opinion?
No, not in practice. Tom Brady couldn't beat Gitmo out over there in practice.
I keep forgetting who the head coach is making the decision to run him out there week after week after week, despite evidence to do something else.
Wow.
All the evidence you need to do something else.
Guys, I am so excited. We are 2 days away from not only a fresh coat of paint, but 2 days away from attacking somebody's secondary, 2 days away from throwing the long ball, 2 days away from highlights, 2 days away from seeing this full-throated offensive display on display, 2 days away from hopefully Joe Milton quieting a collection of haters in our fan base. Matt, what do you make of the resistance to Joe Milton at quarterback in our fan base?
I find the whole deal odd with like everyone taking sides in a quarterback battle.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
I guess it's always kind of gone on, but it's just so odd to me. Like the best quarterback.
I mean, this is a
play.
system. We don't have to have
that's the one thing about
game-changing
that
quarterback. We just need somebody that's going to
pretty confident in is we're going to have good quarterback
make
play.
the right decision.
So I think it's weird that people are like picking sides and
quarterback
trying
battles
to tear the other guys down. Like it just
that I can honestly
makes
remember.
no
that I
sense.
actually don't care who wins the job. I
think any of the three, and you could, and it was four when Maurer was here. Any of the quarterbacks we have, we can go out there and win 5 games at least. I think.
Yes, I agree, Matt.
It's like when Peyton Manning was
exactly right.
Stewart that year.
Exactly right, Brian.
There were people who really wanted Peyton Manning to be benched, and Brandon Stewart turned out to be a good college quarterback in his own right. But just think how crazy that sounds right now.
Brian, I had an old dude.
He just got elected to the Hall of Fame.
Here's a story. I had an old dude.
Bill?
That was my first year on the radio, full time. So that was '94, right? Which is 27 years ago. And our studio used to be in the old McClamrock building downtown on Clinch Avenue. And Chris Early had a video production company in there. Bob Waddell at a surveying.
We're going to hit 3.5
in the back of our office. There was a
that's
literally, if you walk through to the and Brian,
we were making some
you walk
serious
through the parking lot,
money.
there was a surveyor that had an office back there. I'm not joking.
So profit for 7 days.
And there was a Music of Your Life station in there. It was 104.5 at the time. They played all the standards, you know, the Frank Sinatra, the Bing Crosby, all that stuff. I came to love a lot of that music because of that station, like Peggy Lee doing Fever. I got the fever when you're home. So some old dude walked in there one day who liked that music. And he says, I want to talk to your sports guy. And, you know, I always make myself available. I come around the corner. This guy ambushes me. How come you're all about Peyton Manning? I said, excuse me? He said, that's all you talk about.
Away
Peyton
for a
Manning,
half a
Peyton.
second.
Said,
That's what happens.
Stewart's a better quarterback.
Damage anything.
And I stopped him, and I said, wait a second here. Well, he throws the ball better. You can see that, right? And he runs better. He's a better quarterback. I said, sir, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm always like this off the air. Look, I don't have a dog in the fight, man. You have your opinion, I have mine. I said, I'm just gonna tell you this: Peyton Manning looks better in practice. That's why he's gonna get the first crack at it. Because at that time, I'm going to practice all the time, and they were all open. Not like now, where you get to watch 10 minutes and then they kick you out. There's no use in going. Brian, this guy jumps in. I'll never forget. This guy jumps in my face, something serious, tells me I don't know anything about anything, which he's probably right about that.
Was he like drunk?
No, he was just, like Matt said, he had chosen a side, and it had become Matt, that's the weirdest thing about this place in the quarterback position, and it's been like that. People choose the quarterback they want, Matt, and it is personal. Personal. This guy was in my face disgrace over the whole Manning and Brandon Stewart thing. And here's the thing. To those that were around here then, they'll tell you, like Brian brought it up, that's a serious thing. Like, that was going on back then. Like, now you look through the lens of history and you go, well, that's idiotic. I mean, Brandon Stewart and Brandon Stewart, who turned out to be a pretty nice college quarterback. Peyton Manning, I think he just went into the Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago. But that's what was going on here. And not that I'm comparing either one of these two guys or three guys or whomever, whatever's in the back. But this Bailey thing, Matt, people decided on Harrison Bailey, Matt, and this is a disservice that you have in the recruiting deal, but they decided with all the plaudits he had in recruiting, all the numbers he threw for, they convinced themselves he was Trevor Lawrence, Matt. You know that, right? And they convinced themselves that as a true freshman, Tennessee was going to find their franchise quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence.
And I'm here to tell you, looking at him last year on the field, and I said it in real time, I'm going to say it again, I'm not the only one. You're going to be a franchise quarterback at this level, you better have more arm than that.
Who recruited Harrison Bailey?
Now, I'm not ripping the guy. And you better be a little faster than that to play this game. Now, like Matt wrote today, or well, you'll see, because we're going to run Matt's quarterback breakdown tomorrow. There's no reason Harrison Bailey can't be a pretty good quarterback in time. But, Matt, people have decided that it's an affront to them that this guy is probably third team, but they're going to make him second team in that game on Thursday because they're going to make it look over TV. But if the quarterback had an injury, see, that's where the rubber would meet the road. If that starting quarterback got hurt, I believe, and they had to go win a game with Pittsburgh, people are going to let me saying this. But if they had to go win a game, I think they'd throw Joe Milton out.
The man had an offer from Alabama,
I was only right
Auburn,
about who the starter was going to be, and I was only right about them bracketing the 2 and the 3 and making it look good for TV. I was only right about those two things. I don't know what I know.
Gosh, man.
I don't know what I know.
I mean, Hendon Hooker, not Joe Milton.
Hendon Hooker would be I think would be the next quarterback in line. Matt, why do people bristle at that? And that makes people very angry, Matt. People were angry about this yesterday. A couple callers just all tore up over it, Matt.
I don't know. It's
700 miles.
Not the way I view it. I just want your best quarterback to play.
Yeah.
That's enough for me after the last couple of years
Yep.
being locked up in prison.
What the time?
I think you have to go with Hooker too. He's kind of proven it. In a lot of ways, Hooker's more proven than Joe Milton is. Now, obviously, Milton has much more upside and a better fit for this offense, but if you were to have to use your backup, Hooker would be the
1 hour
the one
is
to go
3
to
minutes.
because you
so we
could
got about
still run the same kind of offense. With you have a running threat at quarterback, maybe not rely on deep balls as much, but that transition to the backup, you could still use most of the same game plan.
Yep.
With Bailey, I mean, you talked about it. He is no threat to run at all.
None.
And he has the weakest arm of the three.
No offense.
So it's just tough for him to overcome that right now.
People say, well, and another thing, some guy emailed me, you're campaigning. I'm campaigning against anybody. I get on here every day and I call balls and strikes. What I'm paid to do. I call balls and strikes, make my community a better place to live. I'm not campaigning against anybody. Like Matt said, I said at the outset of camp, if it's Harrison Bailey, God bless America. If it's Hendon Hooker, so be it. If it's Joe Milton, so be it. It's not going to be Gitmo. I'm going at a Gitmo. Gitmo. We're getting at a Gitmo. That's all I care about. Go ahead, Brian.
It's not Gitmo. I would think most people would just
Okay,
be
so
thankful
according to
that
this,
Exactly.
1 minute or
and no
1
matter
hour
who it
is
is,
3
it's gonna
minutes.
be an upgrade.
Exactly, Brian.
And every
be an
mile
upgrade.
is equal to
Exactly.
20 miles.
That's why I'm glad he
Okay.
named the starter yesterday.
I am amen. Amen, Matt.
There was still that 2% chance that we come out Thursday night and
No,
from
that's
the
not
Raptors,
right.
number 2 comes flying down to be the quarterback.
Yes, like Sting. He comes catapulting out like Sting or the Blue Blazer, Matt. From the top of the
rest in
stage, up
peace,
there where
Owen
the
Hart.
snipers are perched, up above the scoreboard. Here comes Gitmo slinging down.
Snipers took out a Bowling Green player the last time we played them.
To the phones we go. By the way, Dangerous Dan's going to join us. In fact, to the phone callers, you stay there. Danger Dan, you stay there. It's your Bacilio show. These guys were wordy, but the quarterback thing is just really, it's really a confounding mystery to me. As we're 2 days out, why you're so invested. More after this.
You know we're celebrating the beginning of the Josh Heupel era with our Garza Law Tennessee Up All Night broadcast. I want to invite you to keep the celebration going
So
through
one
the
thing
weekend.
I don't like
as
about
my friends at Alumni Hall are having a
this.
Tennessee football celebration block party
I mean, he's
Saturday,
said
September
so
4th
many times
from
in the past
11
month,
to 2
like,
at
Joe
their
Melton's
huge
coming
Turkey
for it.
Creek
I don't know
location.
what else
There will
to
be
tell
plenty
you.
of games for kids
Yeah,
of all
why do
ages.
people care?
Food for the family,
Who
coupons
cares?
for
I mean,
customers,
he doesn't
VFL
care.
Jason Swain, and many
We get
more
lucky on our way
surprises.
station.
That's Saturday, September
Yesterday, we
4th
did not
at
have to
Alumni
stop at a
Hall,
single
Turkey
one.
Creek. It's going to be
Oh,
a day
again,
to remember
baby. Yes.
as part of a Tennessee football
You probably
weekend.
feel sorry
You'll
for us.
never forget Alumni Hall, your go-to shopping destination for Tennessee gear. You know Thursdays on the Tony Basilio Show have become appointment radio, and now we're going to take it higher.
Tony, I'm not real sure about this. Are you sure you want to do it?
Knoxville News Sentinel lead columnist John Adams joins us every Thursday with your Tony Basilio cast and crew.
Tony, I'm not real sure about this. I mean, are you sure you want to do this?
Presented by our friends at Seniors Helping Seniors. Every Thursday from 11 to 1, we're joined by John Adams as he imparts his wit and wisdom to the masses, unfiltered and unapologetic.
Hey, Tony, I'm not real certain about this. I mean, are you sure you want to do this?
You've got to tune in Thursdays to see what's going to happen on your Tony Basilio Show as John Adams joins the team every Thursday. Presented by Seniors Helping Seniors. Online at seniorshelpingseniors.com. John, are you really sure you're going to do this? Tony Basilio here from my good friend Marcos Garza and your Garza Law Firm. Pretty jacked up that it's football time in Tennessee. How about you? Well, I still have word of a troubling development and what we can do about it. Because carpetbaggers remain in our area. Out-of-town law firms, carpetbaggers, have been swarming in the East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, Birmingham, they've stormed into our area. You've seen the ads on television. You've heard some of these new ads that are popping up on radio. Let me ask you a question. Wouldn't you rather do business with somebody that's live and local? A local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and my friends at your Garza Law Firm are exactly that. These are your neighbors, your friends, our neighbors and friends. Support local causes year-round. Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm, always there for me when I have a need. For Fish Hospitality Pantry, and also our Machi Tailgate, just to name a couple of things. They're live and local. They're one of us. They're of our earth. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries, and accident matters. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. And they will be for many, many years to come. Live, local, one of us, one of you. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire with an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect. You can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Carnes Motor Company is celebrating 20 years of serving the living East Tennessean. Like us here at your Tony Basilio Show, Carnes Motor Company wins because Rob and Brian go above and beyond for you. Above and beyond. Carnes Motor Company will even buy or sell your vehicle. Yes,
We are in Nevada
they'll buy
now.
or sell your vehicle for you. Plus, warm weather's here. It's time to get your air conditioning serviced and get your vehicle ready for vacation with their certified technicians. And the best part, bumper to bumper, pillar to post, Carnes Motor Company will serve all your vehicle needs. How else can you thrive for 20 years besides going above and beyond? You will win with Carnes Motor Company. 7447 Oak Ridge Highway. Online at carnesmotor.com. Win with Carnes Motor Company. The kids are off to college. They're hundreds of miles away. And me and Mrs. B are staring at each other in an empty house. She wants to get away, go see a show or an event. Who do we
Tony,
call?
give me that baked ziti.
How about when she wants to go to an NFL game?
Select ticket service.
About a concert in Atlanta. Select ticket service. Say an NBA game in Charlotte.
Select ticket service. Select ticket service.
Select ticket service 687-1718. 687-1718. Select ticket service.
Yeah, that'll play.
Yeah, that's about probably the year
My
that
name's Bacilio, and I got to figure out
business
what
was
mic I'm on.
founded.
Good night,
What do you do? I
Bacilio.
sell tickets.
Are we going to be treated to just an incredible, fun first game here in Knoxville? We better be, as I
Better
welcome
be.
you back. Danger Dan is getting ready to join me. You will bow when you say thy name. The name of Danger Dan
Harrelson.
Ian Harrelson, who joins.
Oh, Lordy.
Tennessee warming it up. And I mean, they are warming it up.
I hope this
And they're
music's
getting ready
not
to roll Thursday
copywritten.
night in the Neyland.
Ooh.
It might be rainy outside right now. But
Turn
footballs
this
are gonna come
music
raining
off,
out the
don't
sky.
it?
Florida, do you hear me? And the fear
Here
in
in
your
Florida?
eyes. The fear, sir.
Man, Florida's been calm, cool, collected, though. He knows what's
Bring the
going
great
on.
Danger
He
Dan
knows it's a
Harrelson in here
real-
without further ado.
Thanks, Tony.
Danger Dan, que pasa, amigo? How you doing, brother?
Hola, senor. What are you
Welcome
doing,
back to
Miss
the show of record.
Tony?
Danger Dan, where we have squelchy phone lines today, but we're going to deal with it. Danger Dan, you of VolsWire.com, part of the USA Today network of stars, studs, and stallions. As I welcome you in, how does it grab you right now, a couple days out, Danger Dan?
For Tennessee's sake, to see Joe Milton finally get officially publicly named. I know he's had a pretty good fall camp, especially in the scrimmages. And look, he was brought in here for a reason, and it's time to really put it together underneath the lights. I know it's Bowling Green; they're not the best of teams, but I think it's good to have a game like this, especially because parlay it with the second game against Pittsburgh, who Heupel's had success with in the past in recent years. So I think when you add a third game with Tennessee Tech, I think it's something that's good for Heupel, this system, this program. I think it can cause a little bit of buzz before you get into conference play. So it's going to be fun to watch.
You know, it's a really interesting thought you have in terms of the run-up to the season. It's a perfect opponent for Tennessee, and you know, Pittsburgh, our Week 2 opponent, has a warm-up themselves with UMass. These warm-up games serve a purpose. I would much rather do that than do what LSU's doing this weekend with a heavy heart and having to go out to the coast with UCLA to open a pivotal season, or what Georgia's doing from jumping from the frying pan into the fire with Clemson. I think it's a perfect opener for the Vols versus the Pruitt-era opener where they had to go to a neutral site, play a very dangerous and powerful West Virginia team that throttled them, Dan. This is a perfect opener because even if you're playing like slop Thursday night, you're still going to win by several touchdowns.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, because you do look at Jeremy Pruitt's first year, 2018, playing West Virginia, got drilled in Charlotte. If you would have played somebody like this or FCS opponents that season, you get to 6-6
61
despite losing the last two ball games of the
maybe
season to Missouri and Vanderbilt. You go back and look at Butch Jones' first year. You're going out to Oregon, you're 5-7. You don't have to rely on a instant replays that turned a win into a loss against Vanderbilt. You're going to a bowl game. I believe Derek Dooley had Oregon in 2010 at home that first year. Of course, he did make a bowl game. So, but yeah, I mean, as Butch Jones once said many times, it is critical, and I think it's critical to
streak
have
is over, folks.
A good opponent like this to start things off. Especially
solid government overreach here
So
in
today
the
we're going to
great
do some
state of
over-unders in
Nevada.
our hour two. Over-under pass plays 40-plus yards.
So
Thursday night.
an 8th
Where are you,
grader
Dan
science
Harrelson?
teacher was from that state.
For 40
And she
plus
told
yards.
us how to
40-plus
pronounce it.
yard. That can be run and
But I
catch.
forgot. I think it's Nevada.
That can be passes in the air. That can be whatever you make it. But receptions of 40-plus yards.
Hang on.
Are you going to throw a number at me and I'll go?
No, you're going to throw. You're going to throw. Well, let me ask TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, who I bow thy head in his presence. TGMD.
Nevada.
Pass plays 40-plus
Nevada.
yards. What you got, brah?
That's what we've been saying, right? Now I don't even remember.
Over under at 2.5.
2.5. Danger Dan.
I'd go 1.5 or 2.5.
Well, you guys are a lot of fun. Danger Dan, I'm trying to get Florida scared. The caller, Florida, 2.5 for Matt. Go ahead. What do you got, Danger Dan?
I was thinking more so like 4. I think 4 is a good number because I think Joe is going to let it rip a little bit. See, get a flow for the receivers. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they called it back for him. But I think I'll go 4 just to see how much they let them rip it against Bowling Green.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I said,
Who will be the leading receiver in the game, and what will the number of receptions be?
man, I
Danger
wish
Dan, hit it.
copyright laws
Yeah,
are
they're
so
going to play a lot
stupid,
of
man.
receivers, so they're going to.
I mean, I get it, but
you would
they're
think
really,
a guy
what,
like
kitty? It's still raining, baby. I
be
know. I'm
right
so
there.
sorry.
I don't
Still
know.
raining,
I'll go.
sadly.
I'm interested to see what
Yeah,
they
I know.
do. I know he's right behind Bayless. I mean, the depth chart they released yesterday really does not matter. They're going to play all these guys.
Yep.
Cedric Tillman's another one. I think I would
Like
go
Cedric
Bayless Jr. just because I think they know he's the leader in that group, and they probably want to get him accustomed to this offense with live bullets. I'll go Bayless, but I'm really interested to see what Peyton can do.
All right. How many catches for Bayless Jones Jr. in the game?
All the catches.
I'll go
6.
Healthy number. That's
want
a year's worth of
2
receiving
100-yard wide receivers.
under the old regime. Matt
and
Dixon, leading
at least
receiver, and how
one
many
player
catches?
with multiple touchdowns at wide receiver.
This is fun to think about. This is what we're doing here.
If
I'll go
Joe
Jalen
Milton
Hyatt, and
doesn't
he'll
have
get
4 touchdown
that
passes
6
by
sounds like a good
halftime.
number for him.
It's a loss.
Just to go different. Dan, I'll go Jalen
No
Hyatt.
ifs, ands, buts, or
I'll say
about it. It's a
Tyus,
loss.
the yard leader, and Bayless is the number of catches leader.
Nice, Bri. Okay.
You'll have a different guy leading the team in receptions total and yards total.
That's an interesting thought. Now, of course, Hyatt's going to play in the slot, and it should be pointed out that in these offenses all over the country, offenses like this one, Dan, the slot receiver is a very prominent role, and the slot receiver will consume a lot of catches. Why is that, Dan, from a tactical standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to throw a lot in terms of just getting it out quick. And then Hype would like to do this with Zach. He likes to sack receivers and have that front receiver at times be a blocker and the quarterback throws hot, which Joe Milton's really good at, which I think that's part of the reason he was brought in. Just have a quick, strong throw out to the bottom receiver in that stack motion and have a good blocker there. So I think Cedric Tillman's
No.
doing that as well.
Damn it.
I do think we'll see
Damn it.
either Jabari Small or Jalen Wright both at times that they could be in the slot and him to
Hey,
be part of that stack formation, which is interesting
We're
because
fine.
you can
We're
tell
fine.
Heupel for the Big
I'm so
12 school
sorry.
now.
Yep.
The way they released the depth chart yesterday for the university.
Her in a museum
UCF
for a
last 3 years,
destroyer.
I always list the utility position. They didn't list that on Tennessee's depth chart. But Tyron Evans is definitely that number one back.
Excited to see
Go
Tyron
through
Evans.
the tackles in between the
Man, I
tackles
just
up the
wanna-
middle. But Small and Wright,
I want to look
thought
good
of them
on
being in that
offense. I want to have
utility spot.
good
They were
offensive
listed
numbers.
as both number twos. I think you're going to see guys like Small and
God
Wright
damn it. I'm tired
in
of
that
sucking.
slot, along with guys like Jalen Hyde.
I know
Walker
everybody
Bell. I
shits
think
on the
you'll see Javonte
defense
Payton
too,
a
but
little bit
I'm
there.
actually,
But it's going to be fun to watch. Like I said, they're going to put.
I'm
a lot of
expecting
guys
them
in
to be
different spots throughout the
manageable.
field, especially during this first game.
Now, if
So
you
it's a
get
matter of verbiage,
injuries,
Stan. When you say
yeah, that's gonna
utility,
hurt.
do you
But I think
mean
we have a lot of youth and undeveloped talent
a guy that will,
that hopefully will.
what's the word? Like a hybrid.
An Alvin Kamara
something.
role.
Like a hybrid.
We should call it the Alvin Kamara position.
Yes.
Right.
Like a hybrid.
Yeah.
And then when he comes off the field, they hand him a box of Camaro Crunch.
You need that would be
Where's
good.
Andy been? I ain't heard
Well,
Andy in a
never
few
mind.
days.
Have you tried Camaro Crunch, by the way, Dan?
I have not.
Are you a Captain Crunch guy?
It's not bad. It's been a little bit since I've had it.
I think
Would you do Captain
is
Crunch? Would you
overrated.
do Peanut Butter Crunch? Or would you do Berry Crunch if you were doing Captain Crunch?
JMO?
Probably Captain Crunch.
I agree with that. Although Peanut Butter Crunch for a while was a jam of mine. When I was in my teens, I used to take a whole box of Count Chocula,
Captain Crunch.
put it in
is
like a
too
Jethro
sweet.
Bodine bowl, get a half a gallon
Like if
of milk,
Yeah, if you got
my
the
dad
crunch
would go,
berries,
"Where's the
and
cereal?"
berries were the only sweet, that'd be okay.
and I'd say I ate it. And he goes, "We just bought it." Because my other brothers and sisters would be like, "Where's the
other
cereal?" And I go,
sugar coated.
"What do you mean you just ate it?" I ate it last night. Matt, Captain Crunch, Berry Crunch, or Peanut Butter Crunch, where are you going?
Well, I would have to go with the Berry Crunch because I'm allergic to peanuts, but Frosted Flakes is my go-to.
Oh, I love Frosted. Frosted Flakes is the jam.
Yeah.
Brian Hartman, if I'm not having some Raisin Bran. Go ahead, Brian.
It'd be Lucky Charms, and hopefully they get the marshmallows all mixed throughout the box instead of all at the top and then there's nothing at the bottom.
Well, you gotta do what Ice do. Take the box, pour it out, shake it up. My mom would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I gotta get the orange stars, the pink clovers, the blue diamonds dispersed throughout, and then pick out the brown M&Ms like Eddie Van Halen, Sean Sinclair. Leading rusher in the game. We're gonna stay with Tennessee's offense. Danger Dan, who will be Tennessee's leading rusher in the game? You talked about the three-headed monster back there, and they're going to do some creative things as well. And by the way, Joe Milton can be the leading rusher in the game. Let's enter that into the discourse here. Go ahead.
Doubt that.
Yeah, I think it's basically running back by committee this game just to see what they have with live bullets. But I'll go to Tyron Evans just because he's the number one guy. I think they want to get him accustomed to running up the middle. So I'll go Evans.
How many?
I'll go about
12.
How many?
70.
70 yards. All right. Matt Dixon, leading rusher in the game.
I'll go Jabari Smalls. I think we might save Evans a little bit for that pit game. Jabari Smalls goes for 110.
110.
I'm going to throw in my wild card here. How about Joe Milton for leading rusher?
Okay. How many, Brian?
How many runs of, say, 20-plus yards is Milton going to have?
Can't just
Let's do that.
add a new question
Runs
without
20
answering
plus
your
yards
old
for
one, without
Vols
just
in the
making a
game,
statement.
because they're
like,
going to rip off.
support it.
Especially if they stay vanilla, Dan.
Sell it.
See, people think that Heupel's offense is like AFL, Sid Gilman, Don Coryell, but they run a lot out of these sets, Dan. They set up the run with the pass, and they find a lot of space for their backs, which would be a really fun offense to play running back in. That's why I wish the transactional Vol that went down to Oklahoma, I wish he would have stayed here because he would have had I think a major impact here. But Brian's got Joe Milton. How many yards rushing for Joe Milton, Brian?
Probably knew that he wouldn't be
I'll say
eligible,
he has
as well as
about
Toto.
86.
There you go. 86 yards rushing.
Somewhere between 75 and 100.
20-plus yard rushing plays for the Vols. How many, Dan, do they rip off?
2.
probably go 4.
Okay.
4. Interesting.
Matt Dixon.
20 plus rushes.
20 plus
7.
yards. Plays for 20 plus yards.
You said 25.
Yeah, 7.
I think
7?
they're going to run that team.
Jesus
really
Christ!
bad.
These guys think we're going to have
I
500
mean,
yards
high school
rushing.
defense.
What the hell?
Brian
If
Hartman.
you have 7 20-yard runs at least, let's just say 140 yards right there, okay? How many times are you going to run the ball? Are you going to be that ineffective on the
9.
other? 13?
Yeah, I think they're going to smash this team.
I don't...
Dan Harrelson, a top
say
newcomer
9?
on defense. Who will we
9?
be talking about?
9.
Runs of
I'll
20
say-
yards. 9.
I'll say 9.
9 carries of at least 20 yards. So 200 yards rushing on 9 carries, which this offense runs some plays. We're going to have a lot more than 9 carries. What? What? Come on, Tony, tame it down. We're setting ourselves up here. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I think they're going to smash this team. Dan Harrelson,
9.
top newcomer on defense. Who will we be
Byron
talking
Young.
about coming out of this game? Top newcomer on defense. When we're on Garza Law, Tennessee, up all night,
All night.
who will the fans be talking about?
Byron Young.
Well, I thought Aaron Willis was going to be a factor, but he's not even listed on the 2 deep.
What happened to Aaron Willis, real quick? What's going on
I
there?
don't know. I wish I could tell you, but you know, it's a 2 deep that you can't really put much stock into.
Interesting.
But I'll go with Juwan Mitchell as a linebacker. I think he's got a shot to really do something this year.
Juwan
And this
Mitchell.
first game.
Interesting.
How many tackles for him?
We'll keep it at 6.
Matt Dixon, who will they be talking about on the post game? Who you got?
Byron Young.
Juwan Mitchell's a good one. I'll go Byron Young.
Thank you.
Because he'll have 2.5 sacks.
Nice.
Yeah, I think he's got a shot to really be special this year.
I'll take the Simmons kid.
Elijah, who we've been waiting on. It would be
If he's
real. I
good,
tell you
that'll
what,
be
Brian,
exciting.
if that happens, get ready for the Tennessee goes to Florida talk and wins. They need somebody else to
Rodney
develop
Garner
there.
Probably more than any coach on that staff.
I agree with that.
And I think they've got some decent coaches on that staff, but Rodney Garner just knows how to get it done.
Dan, why does Rodney Garner only get tabbed as, in that coaching community, a recruiter only, and here he's a veteran coach, and everywhere he's been, he's turned out tremendous defensive linemen. Not good. Everywhere he's been, that unit's been tremendous. And he's had this Byron Young guy develop right under him in camp, to the point where at times, Dan, am I exaggerating to say that Byron Young at times in this camp has been unblockable?
Yeah, and I think he's got his head on right. I mean, you look where he came from. He came from Georgia military, so he was at a military school. He's focused and he's very appreciative of the opportunity to be at Tennessee this year. And then you add on top of Garner being one of his coaches. And every time Garner talks with the media, you just, me personally, I get the sense that I think this guy's really the defensive coordinator.
Amen.
I mean,
You said it, I did. You said it, I did. Amen. Amen. It's something that people I talk about say that Rodney Garner handles his business with such gravitas that he is like a defensive coordinator over there, which is interesting. And you know what? Tim Banks would be a very smart guy to kind of lean on him, because this is a guy that knows the Southeastern Conference for a couple decades plus now, and again, is very proven and it would be smart of Tim Banks to defer to Rodney Garner, which I think goes on early on in their in the development
and Willie
here.
Martinez
And Willie Mo. Yep. Hey, I know that's the way the dynamic's shaking out, Dan, and you do too, because you wouldn't have said that if you didn't. And here's the bottom line: I think that's smart. I think it's smart of a newcomer to defer to those guys. Now, obviously, he's gonna get to call things during the game, but if those guys bring ideas, schemes to him, thoughts on personnel, he would be very smart not to reject them out of hand, like some guys would, and let their egos get in the way. And I don't think Tim Banks will be that way, Dan.
No, I think Tim Banks. I'll say this:
yeah. 4,723.
The last
so we will hit that.
Garner was going to be on that staff, and it's kind of like
pretty close to our destination.
Situation that
definitely want to keep an eye out for that.
These guys
Screenshot.
Deal with a little bit more of the spotlight, but I think Garner, just with the Auburn situation last year, he may not have had the most perfect place to go. Since Auburn made the change where he was at, and maybe Tennessee was the best spot for him, and Heupel has a ton of respect for him, and so he wanted to keep him on staff, but also give him a lot of room to work with, and maybe Banks is just a title that he has, and behind the scenes that they know Garner has a huge say-so in the scheme and coaching ability on the defensive side.
Dan, Tennessee's linebackers, I think that's obviously the weak point in the defense. They've got guys there, but will they be an eyesore in week one? Will they be a worry spot in week one, or is Bowling Green not even good enough to expose that? What do you think?
Well, this week I think they should be fine, but going forward, I just think with Jeremy Banks being listed as the weak side linebacker, Stalin Page third, right behind him, you got to get that spot in the linebacker unit under control and get it figured out. Can Jeremy Banks finally do something?
Yep.
This Bowling Green offense, I mean, they're not the best in the world. Obviously, I think Scott Leffler said yesterday that 70% of their roster has not even played with the crowd in attendance. So they are very young. They do have a quarterback, but the rest of the roster, especially on offense, very young. But their offensive scheme, they're very compact. So what that means is that they'll have about 2-3 wide receivers close to the line. They'll use sniffers, tight end, H-back. So it is a good opening game for guys like Jeremy Banks that can really get some good work in, just because we'll face that type of scheme from Scott Leffler.
Matt Dixon, will we be shaking our head at the Tennessee linebacking play in week one, or is this a thing that's not going to rear its head till Pittsburgh?
No, it won't be a problem this week. Bowling Green can't expose our guys in space like other teams can.
Let me know if you
anything else you'd care to add
adjust the volume
on this week one opponent, this opener on Thursday night. Danger, Dan Harrelson. And by the way, should we be worried about our head coach yesterday and his allergic cough? It sounds like the East Tennessee allergies are getting to him, Dan.
Right. No, I think that's just something that he does in a lot of media settings. If you go back and just watch any of his media availabilities, whether it be press conferences,
he's out there like
radio interviews.
2 weeks ago, we're sitting there talking about, he teaches the guys, he helps them learn. You know, when they make a mistake, he doesn't yell. He tells them how to do better. Like, I'm sure the guy yells. I mean, he has to, project his voice. Like his throat is probably raspy.
Not saying he's trying to.
What do we? Cough game.
Is it a nervous tick? Is it like a nerve thing with him, or is there a method to his madness with his cough? And is he trying to get like an NIL deal with Halls or something? I mean the cough drops, not the community, and the community that's pulling for our Caucasian quarterback. I'm talking about
oh my God,
the cough drop.
Oh my God, Tony.
I did a podcast with
Holy
Steve,
shit.
and we thought
It's
that
fucking
he-
true,
the
though.
whole
Fuck
time
you,
he talked,
Halls.
I'm thinking this guy's
They're
sick.
your
But
alma
then
mater.
after that, I started noticing other appearances he did elsewhere, and he does it. Heupel does it. I don't know if Heupel learned it from him from his time being around him, but I think it's just I don't think it's a nervous thing. I just think it's just a habit of trying to do something. I know Butch Jones used to, when he had the water bottle on the podium or at the desk, and he was talking to the media, he always fiddled with that sometimes. So I think it's just one of those things that you
I mean, it's
gravitate
true.
towards. I mean, these guys just want to hurry up and get out of there.
Toyota Tacoma driving pieces
Very
of fucking
interesting.
trash.
So we're not worried about him. Okay, very
Sorry if
good.
you drive a Toyota
Anything else, Dan, you'd care
Don't
to
be a
add?
douchebag.
Incredible appearance by you. Tell the living listener where they can find you and how they can interact with you in cyberspace
Those are the
and
most
elsewhere.
miserable looking
Yeah,
people
at
on the face of the planet. Like, you see them all the time. It's those,
But as far as this first game,
those younger, like, you know, hometown couples.
I just don't know if they've determined
They just
the
always
guy
look so
kicker.
unhappy.
You
Well, the
got
guy
Chase
looks
McGrath coming
content
in
just
from
because
USC. Toby Wilson,
you know, to
who's got
him,
a little bit of experience here.
he's been told
We'll
his
see
whole
what they
life,
do.
oh yeah,
They
all there is to
pull up
life is
guys
a wife
in
and
the Bowling Green game, but
going to
punt
church.
returner is probably the biggest thing that
Tennessee
stood out to
football,
me
you
on
know.
the 2 deep that was released by UT yesterday.
So then that's their life, and then their
Draymond Flowers,
wives and girlfriends,
two
you know,
guys I really
hating
to be
their
more
life
close
because
to
they're
the
just
deep
always stuck
at the
doing
punt
what
returner position. I think it's
the dickhead
think
wants to
about
do.
it. It would be kind of interesting to see how they play out
But
there.
then they're sitting
And
there
Kyle
staring
Evans,
off
not a
into
surprise there,
distance.
back up to
into
Baylor
the-
Jones Jr. Or I guess
to
it's two guys
space
that kicked off
and
in the kick return game. I think
sharing
that could be very
fake news on
good
Facebook
duo
like it's
this season
goddamn
as it
gospel.
unfolds. But really,
Fuck
just
those people.
looking at
How
the team
about
as a whole, special teams is going to be fun to watch against Bowling Green, and just how the offensive personnel, the players
Oh,
are
pay
used
attention to it.
in a game like this before.
Rant
Pittsburgh.
over.
You happen to be the man. Much love to you.
Now
How
that
can the living
he
listener
is
interact with you? Tell them.
Yeah, at Dan Harrelson on Twitter and then ballswire.com.
Insane. Great appearance by the great Dan Harrelson. Who's up in our Tennessee Two-A-Days podcast? Who's a guest this week?
Yep.
I had
in California
Al
again.
on.
for
He
now.
was a analyst at Michigan.
Sweet,
I
sweet
actually put that out
55
this morning.
mile an hour speed
So
limit.
he was there with Joe Milton, and very interesting conversation with him, just trying to get a feel for A, Joe Milton at Michigan, and B, how come it didn't work out there? And it's really interesting how he got into the program there at Michigan. He's a huge numbers guy, analytics guy, and whenever a coach, Harbaugh or whoever, wanted information numbers-wise with analytics, he would go crunch the numbers, and they would have their personnel.
I wish
do
cars would just
whether
get
it's
over
practice
when
or
you're
a
trying to
game.
merge.
So
Or I wish
my
they would
theory
make the
now
merging
after
lanes
that,
a lot
I think Harbaugh and company, they rely too much on numbers and analytics other than scheme. And now Joe Milton's in a place where scheme is definitely the focus and a premium with
I'm going to
Heupel.
say
And who
143
knows,
miles.
maybe
182.
Joe Milton, lightning in a bottle here. He's got a really good shot, especially with some other talent on the offensive side of the ball. But that just really stood out to me on the Michigan side of things, that analytics was more of a premium compared to actual scheme there. And I think that's why Milton was not developed and he did not produce that much there.
Very interesting. They've been kind of aimless there at Michigan with the quarterback position, which is weird because they've had some pretty good candidates, as we've pointed out in the off season. It's very strange. They haven't had anybody stick. And much love to you, my friend. Good talking to you. How am I doing?
Sounds good.
Good talking to you, Dan.
All right, you too.
How about Dr. Dan Harrelson, Matt Dixon, diagnosing a cough from afar?
Oh, that's beyond my expertise. Josh Heupel playing a little 3D chess.
Yeah.
Press conference.
Dr. Dan. Dr. Danny Harrelson.
We might need to get Dr. Guru on to confirm that.
Brian, where's Dr.
Where's
Guru
Sean?
been?
The Guru.
I don't know. I don't see him on Twitter anymore.
The Guru?
The Guru.
We might have to put an APB out the third hour today.
I guess he's getting pumped for the North Carolina football opener at Virginia Tech. Maybe he's.
I don't blame him. It's a big game, and I love North Carolina's uniforms. And he's a heel vol heel.
Fallen heel.
Craig Meyer is going to join us, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, coming up. On top of this, Craig Meyer, really at the end of the day, how's Tennessee's season going to go? Well, we're going to find out a lot in 10 days after this.
Don't miss your last chance to support your Tennessee Smokies. The week of September 6th is their last homestand. Every night has a great promotion like Taco Tuesday with $2 soft tacos, All You Can Eat Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday with $1, $2, and $3 beer specials, and then the weekend. Friday will be UT night with a Tony Vitello bobblehead giveaway. Saturday, the last fireworks show of the season, and Sunday is Fan Appreciation Day with a Javi Baez blanket giveaway. Woo, there's a lot going on. So pick a day. You can't go wrong. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Your Tony Basilio radio family is so excited about the Josh Heupel era at Tennessee that we've decided to celebrate by staying up all night. What more would you expect from the show of record in volunteer country? Our entire cast and crew is on deck, ringing in the new era with a special all-night marathon edition of Garza Law Tennessee football fifth quarter immediately following Tennessee and Bowling Green. As soon as Tennessee and Bowling Green goes final, we're up all night celebrating the rebirth of Tennessee football with you. So stay with us all night until the following day's Tony Basilio show. Everybody will be heard. No holds or callers will be bored Thursday, September 2nd into Friday, September 3rd. Stay up with us. We celebrate a new era of Tennessee football. Tennessee football up all night. Presented by Marcos Garza and your Garza Law Firm. Online at GarzaLaw.com. Smoothie King. Do something great for yourself at Smoothie King. Performance Medicine. Perform your best with Performance Medicine. Miller Lite and Alumni Hall. And the best on-air team in America on the best post-game show ever heard, serving the greatest fan base on God's green earth. Let's celebrate another Tennessee football season after the Bowling Green game. It's Tennessee all night Falls. PB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high-character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. It's football time all over East Tennessee, and you don't want to cook. So for your next tailgate or football party, let Calhoun's handle the heavy lifting. Visit any of Calhoun's 9 East Tennessee locations on your way to the game and pick up a Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack. You already know nothing goes better with football than Calhoun's world-famous barbecue. Now you can get the Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack with amazing barbecue ribs. Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack is a touchdown in a box. And now with Calhoun's barbecue or ribs. Add the buns, Smoky Mountain baked beans, and creamy coleslaw, and you're winning. Calhoun's even throws in the plates, napkins, and utensils for an easy-to-carry box. And the best part, it's just under $6 per person for the barbecue. Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack is undefeated. And now with ribs. And brisket available on Wednesdays. Call ahead and order online or from our convenient app, and we'll have it ready and waiting. The Feed 5 and Feed 10 family pack from Calhoun's. One of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, Calhoun's. Eat local. Eat good. Tony Basilio here from my good friend Marcos Garza and your Garza Law Firm. Pretty jacked up that it's football time in Tennessee. How about you? Well, I
Eat
still have word
local,
of a
eat
troubling
good.
development and what we can do about it. Because carpetbaggers remain in our area. Out-of-town law firms, carpetbaggers, have been swarming in the East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, Birmingham, they've stormed into our
So we
area.
heard from
You've
a
seen the
credible
ads
source
on
that
television.
Tony was
You've
reporting
heard some of these new ads that are popping up on radio. Let me ask you a question. Wouldn't you rather do business with somebody that's live and local? A local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and my friends at your Garza Law Firm are exactly that. These are your neighbors, your friends, our neighbors and friends. Support local causes year-round. Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm, always there for me when I have a need. For Fish Hospitality Pantry, and also our Machi Tailgate, just to name a couple of things. They're live and local.
Chris,
they're one of us.
what
They're of our earth.
in the world does
Garza
he
Law
mean when he
Firm
says
works to
Fish
serve you
Hospitality
professionally on
Pantry?
criminal matters, injuries, and accident
Every
matters.
time he says
the Garza
that,
Law Firm
what?
is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. And they will be for many, many years to come. Live, local, one of us, one of you. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. Basilio for Smoothie King. And look who's showing up at
Okay,
Smoothie
we're
King
getting
these
close to
days. It's TK
75,000.
and TK Jr., the dynamic duo, looking better than ever.
It's great to be here enjoying the delicious, nutritious Smoothie King. Something I have been doing for going on 20 years. Drinking Smoothie King as a meal replacement helps me keep a leg up on Junior. I can still take it.
Let the old man grow and make him feel a little better about himself. Pops taught me a lot of things, and one of them was eat healthy by drinking Smoothie King. Good nutrition never tasted so good, and it's easy to eat on the move. Just roll to the drive-thru and get your favorite Smoothie King.
2 peas in a pod. That's what you guys are. VFL and SKFL. What a combination. Almost as good as the offerings right here at Smoothie King. Slim, fitness, wellness, and break time blends.
Lean One, Gladiator, and the Hawk are all great choices for your different needs. Greek yogurt, paleo, keto, and peanut power plus. I absolutely love the vegan nutty super grain. Just look at these guns, Junior.
Get over yourself, Pop. Smoothie King is what we're here to talk about. The new metabolism food smoothies are delicious and keep you going. Coffee smoothies, angel food, and strawberry kiwi breeze are just a few of the most popular choices on the menu.
Thanks for the Smoothie King love, guys. Let's keep Tommy Boy Marine and his crew blending smoothies on Rocky Top for years to come. Delicious and nutritious. The healthy alternative to fast food. Say it with me, Kelly Duo. Smoothie King.
Coming in late.
He's coming in late, isn't he, TK?
Yeah.
What are we going to do with him? Tony Basilio here with former Vol great Mark Griffin. And Mark's here to talk about performance medicine. And Mark's been going to performance medicine now for a few years. Mark, one of the things performance medicine did is help you with your low energy. Part of that was hormone therapy. How has that helped you, Mark?
Well, hormone therapy has actually given my energy back that I had lost in the past. And I just feel like a new person. Tony, as you age, your hormones decline. As they decline, you decline in every way. Performance medicine wants to keep you from declining as you age. Don't decline.
One of the misconceptions, Mark, people have about performance medicine is that hormones is all they do. I know for me, it was nothing of the sort. My vitamin levels were all screwed up, and they got me on a regimen. 3 years later, I feel like a brand new man. Did you experience something similar with them as well?
Tony, I did. It's like I was given a scorecard of the way I was living my life and some of the areas that were deficient. We took a look at the scorecard and said, this is where you need to address the meds you need. This is a lifestyle change you need to make. And I tell you what, it's all turned around as far as how I feel in a short period of time. And I know he can do the same thing for your listeners.
Don't settle for the way you feel. Performance Medicine. Online at performancemedicine.net. Performance Medicine. You better bow your head when you say thy name. The great Craig Meyer joining us, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He covers the Pittsburgh Panthers for them. The Johnny Majors Classic won.
He's probably the third guy up today, and the
numbers that have such a...
But yeah, no, that actually hinge on.
I thought that was low for... I know the Oklahoma States of the world. Speak to that if you can.
Sure. Yeah. So they played Penn State 4 years, 4 years in a row from 2016 to 2019. Lost both of the games. They lost both the games in a Happy Valley. But they were relatively competitive. They lost both of them. One was like 33-14. One was a little bit closer. But they certainly didn't get blown out. And then I know at least in the first of those years, Penn State was a top 10, top 15 team with Tracy McSorley. I think Saquon and Saquon Barkley was still there. So lost both those. They lost at Oklahoma State in 2016. They played UCF a couple times. Both times I think when Josh Heupel was coach. I think the first one was not Scott Frost. They played them in 2017 to 2018. Lost the first one down in Orlando. Got blown out in that one. UCF's obviously not a Power 5 team, but they're a very good Group of 5 program, and they got a pretty rowdy atmosphere, even in a slightly smaller stadium. And then Pitt beat them the next year in Pittsburgh. But it's also a team that I think can do well in some unexpected situations. I mean, I think most famously for them here in these past 5 years, and I mean, I'd say it's probably the biggest one under Pat Narduzzi. They beat Clemson in 2016 when Deshaun Watson was a quarterback for him. Clemson went on to win the national title that year. So it's a team that, I think in a situation like that, when their back's against the wall, when people are doubting them, they do well. Obviously, with the Tennessee game, I mean, this is the hardest game on their non-conference schedule. So I think that there's obviously a measure of getting up for a game like that. There's the added appeal and of playing in a 100,000-seat stadium. I think it's something that the team is excited for, and I think at least for the older guys on this team that they're prepared for. They played at Death Valley last year too, but obviously it was during the pandemic and the crowd size was a little bit limited. I think there was probably like a third full, but they got blown out in that game. So it's a team that does have experience in those situations. I'd say it's kind of a mixed bag, but I think with this game, I think it'll be. I think there will be a little bit of a different dynamic since I guess given Tennessee's rebuilding efforts, I would probably, and some of this will depend on how both teams do this weekend, but I would probably expect at the very least it to be a bit of a toss-up game if Pitt's not favored.
Matt Dixon, jump in here with Craig Meyer of your Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, who covers the Pitt Panthers. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but could you talk more about Pittsburgh's secondary and what kind of the vibe is around them here in fall camp and as the season starts? Are they confident? Because that's kind of one of the areas that will probably be key to this game.
All right.
Yeah. I talked about the safeties a little bit earlier there. I didn't get to touch on the corners though. And the corners are a group that I feel like is really one of their strengths. The linebackers, I would say, that's probably their strongest position group. But their corners, though, Damari Mathis, he missed all of last season for him. That was probably the most brutal absence for him. In the most recent season he played in 2019, I want to say Pro Football Focus, I think, had him as the top-rated top-rated corner in the ACC. Opposing quarterbacks, when they targeted receivers that he was marking, they only completed 31% of their passes. He is a really good, very important player for them. And on the other side, Marquez Williams is also last season he had to step in and play a lot more with Mathis being out, but he really impressed too. So that I think for all the uncertainty that there is with their safeties, I think that their corners, the drive depth can cover two different parts of the field, have two very different roles. But I think that for at least half of their secondary that there is. That there's a lot of optimism and a lot of confidence in what those guys can do. And the safeties too. There isn't nearly as much experience there, just since Hamlin and Ford had such pronounced and very prominent roles for Pitt over the past 2 or 3 seasons. But you still had some guys there. Brandon Hill. Where Paris Ford didn't play in Pitt's final few games, so Brandon Hill got to step in, got some really good experience there. Looked pretty good at times. Took him a little bit to settle in, but I think for the safeties, there's uncertainty there, but I also think that there's a little. I think that there's a certain level of confidence in what they can do, but at the very least, Pitt has those corners that kind of fall back on and not be, I guess, totally in the dark as far as what their secondary can do.
Craig Meyer, on the way out, you've got family down here, huh?
I do, yeah. My wife's aunt and uncle lived for a while in Maryville, or I guess Merville, as it's pronounced down there. But they moved to Louisville recently.
Nice.
So they've been down there. So I make it down to the Knoxville area. I guess a couple times a year.
Nice.
So I got very acquainted with that Pittsburgh to Knoxville drive, going through all the mountains there in West Virginia and East Tennessee. But it's a gorgeous area. I always love going there. I'm never able to get sweet tea in Pittsburgh at the very least, so I can get down there.
Yeah, sweet tea. I was in Pennsylvania. I'm from southeastern Chester County on the other side of the state in Pennsylvania, and I asked for sweet tea the other day at a restaurant, and they looked at me like, "What?" And I forgot where it was. I was just like, "I'm sorry, never mind."
Hell yes. $91,000.
Final question for you.
$3,500.
So Tennessee and Pittsburgh did a very classy thing, I think.
We got an achievement.
They're naming this series, this 2-off series, Johnny Major Classic. How has that been received up there?
Delivered to a port in Oakland.
Oh, everybody loves it. Pitt can fly. On the sports radar can certainly fly. They're certainly a little bit overlooked sometimes.
Halfway
it's just such a
through level 39
and,
here.
Let's go, baby. If Ben Roethlisberger has like a hangnail, it's our most read story on our website. But I think that I think that people who follow it, I think that they were really thrilled to see that, because that was one thing. When that game was first scheduled, when that series was first scheduled, there were a lot of people who made that understandable parallel where. This is a figure who, and there aren't a lot of coaches who can really say this, where he's an iconic figure at two programs.
Yep.
Pitt, he's sort of, Jackie Sherrill followed him and did very well there, but he was the coach of Pitt's last national champion. In that 1976 team for Pitt with Tony Dorsett. That's
so in
really,
the last 7 days, we've
Pitt's got nine national titles, or 9 claims,
made
but a lot of those are from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and that 76
who wouldn't have screwed up that
still
one delivery
out
yesterday? We definitely
that was the culmination, I think, of a very special era for Pitt. That that's not the benchmark for him, because I think most reasonable people don't expect that. But I think that it's that's what Pitt's always kind of shooting for, and it's sort of is I guess 40 years ago now, but that's still kind of what people hope can one day become somewhat possible. And Johnny Major is someone too who you ask people who are still around Pitt and knew him or interacted with him, and he's just sort of the consummate gentleman.
Yep.
He's someone who's still a very iconic figure around that program. Even when he left, I feel like I guess we're decades removed from it now. I think a lot of people understood it. It was him going home, basically. So he, but I think that, that guy, that man, sorry, I don't want to call him a guy.
They love him.
It's almost understating him a bit, but there is a lot of deserved and earned love there. So I think, and I would expect them to do something in Pittsburgh next season too. When those two teams play, maybe bring family members or something there. Because it's just that's a very special figure.
Yeah. So on the way out, I just gotta make a confession to you. So I grew up in a Penn State house, and they used to say blank on Pitt and all that stuff, and can't say it on the radio, but it's defecation, whatever. So we used to. I was kind of trained to hate Pitt, as an early age, and despise those Johnny Major teams when I was a kid. And you look back on that, and you look at the film of those games, and Man, that was a white-hot thing. That was Alabama and Auburn, for a few years. And, of course, Penn State made the decision to jump away from that and go into the Big Ten and really start the ball rolling in this nonsense era we're in now, where Nebraska's now in the Big Ten for whatever reason, and they've lost their program for forever. And Penn State's been compromised by jumping into the Big Ten as well, to some regard. But I will say this. When Pitt rocks those old-school uniforms with those old-school helmets that harken you back to that era versus that new school stuff that they were wearing in the Gottfried era and then past that, there's something about that old-school Pitt helmet. They need to get back to the days that old of the old helmet stickers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was, when you look at those old videos and those helmet stickers that are all over those helmets, that's some of the most pure, beautiful. And so the question is, will they rock in honor of the Johnny Majors Classic? Will they be wearing those old Pitt uniforms, do you know, in the Neyland Stadium in 10 days and give me chills?
Those exact like 1976 era jerseys, I'm not sure. So they did switch back to their blue and yellow color scheme in 2019. But the jerseys still aren't quite the same, because over the years, even when they were navy blue and gold, they would wear those throwback jerseys, and I think that they overthought it, like the numbering and the font's a bit different. It's just not the same, because the ones that they would wear in those kind of specialized throwback games, I mean, everybody would justifiably swoon over them and be like, these should be their full-time jerseys.
Full-time.
And it was and those jerseys were just a very basic font, just like block numbers. And they collaborated with Nike on these new ones, and they're like kind of pointed at the top to represent like some buildings on like some historic buildings. Like it's just all very overthought. I feel like it would be. I don't think that they're going to, just because I feel like that the people who are in charge are probably a little bit too headstrong. We're like, we invested all this money and research into this project with Nike, but it would be great if for one game, if they did ditch those, because they got like 90 or 95% of the way there to getting back to perfecting that look. And if they could go that extra 5 or 10% on September 11th at Neyland Stadium, that'd be. That would be pretty cool.
No pressure on you, Craig Meyer, but make it happen. And if folks want to interact with you or read your work, how do they do so between now and then? And appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
No, I'm happy to do it. It's you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Craig Meyer PG. It's MEYER. Because I've learned over my life there are a million different ways to spell Meyer, but it's the easiest way to get in touch with me. And if you like anything I read or dislike anything I read, feel free to find me there.
Much love to you. Peace.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. My best to your in-laws as well. Out in beautiful Louisville, God's country. Matt Dixon, can I give 3 cheers for you for that old Pitt uniform and how awesome that thing looks? Because that is a classic. For the Johnny Majors Classic, they need to roll in there, and Tennessee needs to wear some cool-looking old-school jerseys as well, in my opinion, as Johnny Majors used to say.
I agree. That'd be awesome. Yeah, those Pitt jerseys are the best. I don't know why they ever went away from it.
God. Brian Hart, man, when you look at those Pitt helmets, when they got those stickers all over them in the 70s, that's the greatest-looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh is somebody I think of when I think of classic college football. Now they haven't really had much success recently. They're kind of like a poor man's. I don't want to say Notre Dame, but they're sort of like a poor man's Nebraska in some way. They used to be really good in an era that sort of passed them by, and it just doesn't work now like it did.
I swear I skipped ahead.
They're certainly,
minutes.
I think, in a better situation.
Matt, I think he had
the last
areas for the Panthers. And what are unanswered questions? You want a good
and obvious
fine in every way. Performance medicine, dress.
Next weekend in Neyland Stadium, it is a noon start. You will be in the house. I will be in the house. Not a dry eye in the house when they honor the great Johnny Majors. Both of these storied franchise/programs that he's touched the late, great Coach Majors. Before we go there, let me go here.
WJBE.
What you'd call like Logan Paul type openers if you were a legitimate fighter. Because these are, the two opponents in front of the commissioner of our league. It's not good. It's not good for the fans. It's too much drama.
East Tennessee locations, Tennessee.
And we're going to get into, and I'll call our league. That's wanted to form an Eastern League and stabbed all the
needs to be
some kind of.
I think in classic college.
We swoon over them and die a little bit too headstrong. We're like, no, I'm happy to do it.
Country.
About
Matt
25
Dixon, can
minutes.
I get 3 cheers for you for that
So
old
we
pit
are an
uniform and
hour
how
and a half
awesome that
into the
thing looks?
show,
Because that is
and I don't think we've had a
a
single
classic.
caller.
For the Johnny Majors Classic, they need to roll in there, and Tennessee needs to wear some cool-looking old-school jerseys as well, in my opinion, as Johnny Majors used to say.
Who would like to see you fail in your
I agree. It'd be awesome. Yeah, those pit jerseys are the best. I don't know why they ever went away from it.
God. Brian Hart, man, when you look at those pit helmets, when they got those stickers all over them in the 70s, that's the greatest looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah. Pittsburgh is somebody I think of when I think of classic college football. Now, they haven't really had much success recently. They're kind of like a poor man's, I don't want to say Notre Dame, but they're sort of like a poor man's Nebraska in some way.
Let's go.
They used to be really good in an era that sort of passed them by, and it just doesn't work now like it did. But they're certainly, I think, in a better situation than Nebraska is, if we're honest about it.
Well, yeah, because they're in a spot where they're in a division where they're at least, or a league where they at least have some kind of integrity.
They'd be better off in an Eastern League along with West Virginia, Penn State, Syracuse, Boston College, that kind of.
Sure.
Is where they really need to be.
Yeah. See, Penn State, low key. They don't get the blame they deserve. Joe Paterno, that was a very greedy thing Penn State did when they stabbed all those. And somebody goes, well, that's not what happened. It's absolutely what happened. Penn State stabbed. Well, no, Joe wanted to form an Eastern League, and, well, give me a break. Form an Eastern. They should have done that. This geographical integrity thing that's ripped through college sports is not good. I don't care if everybody else kisses the ring of the commissioner of our league. It's not good. It's not good for the fans. It's too much driving for the people that want to do that sort of thing. It's not good. And I'll call an ace and a spay a spay. And remember to have your pets spayed and neutered. And with that in mind, on the other side, we'll take your phone calls. And we're going to get into it because we're going to break it down scientifically because we're going to get there and do it. And we're going there after this.
It's football time all over East Tennessee, and you don't want to cook. So for your next tailgate or football party, let Calhoun's handle the heavy lifting. Visit any of Calhoun's 9 East Tennessee locations on your way to the game and pick up a Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack. You already know nothing goes better with football than Calhoun's world-famous barbecue. Now you can get the Calhoun's Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack with amazing barbecue ribs. Or from our with a third. Stay up with Brady, another chair on all. And you don't want to be stuck hands
of the deal.
How about
the market? Put together a game.
What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville.
Whatever happened to those? Who was the? I swear it was on Tony. Those people that announced
residential and commercial electrical contractors for over 20 years. You'll recognize their work. Places like Neyland Stadium and Tufts Bowling Arena, Knoxville Convention Center, and the Sun Sphere. From wiring a downtown high-rise to installing a new fixture at your family's home. At Advent Electric, no job is too big or too small. Homeowners, is your electric bill through the roof? Let our team of service experts show you the latest trends in lighting and LED fixtures that'll make your home more energy efficient, keeping your hard-earned money in your pocket. If
If you're an electrician, we're always looking for quality individuals to join our team, including competitive pay and benefits. And business owners and managers, let Advent's facility maintenance team help you with all your ongoing maintenance issues. With 24-hour service, we can keep your business up and running with one service call. Serving East Tennessee and the Nashville area. 865-588-0631. Online at adventelectric.com. Tell them Bacilio sent you. Advent Electric. It's electric. Advent Electric. Stover's Liquidation knows that the cost of materials to build or remodel a home has gone up, up, up. But our prices are low, low, low at Stover's Liquidation. Great prices every day. Luxury vinyl planks starting at just 69 cents per square foot. Pre-finished hardwood flooring starting at just $129 per square foot. Appliances, 40% less than you pay at the big box store. Just in, beautiful 3/4 by 6 pre-finished hardwood flooring. Several great colors. Get it before it's gone. Come shop us in Oak Ridge or online anytime at stoversliquidation.com. Stover. Basilio, I got my full game face on. Don't try this at home.
Fall out.
865-200-5402. We've touched them all today.
Fall in.
Started out talking about the quarterback battle. Then Danger Dan came on with us and diagnosed Jeremy Pruitt's cough. Then we got into unpacking the Pittsburgh Panthers. We're heading into an elongated program here, second half. Taking you into our overtime segment. The radio listener, we got 20 minutes to stay with you and break it down scientifically. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, Tom, it's Charlie.
Charlie?
Hey, Charlie.
Migo. Ain't nothing but a pleasure to talk with you, brother.
Now, I hear you, Tom. I got some stuff I got to get to. I'm sick of people like Mark and, just on our fans. The Harrison Bailey lovers don't have to explain it to me. I'm surprised they got to explain it to you, Tom. The best quarterback I saw last year, and you know I'm not a Harrison Bailey fanboy, but with a quarterback coach that carries a Heisman Trophy around like the Titanic carries a boat anchor, the quarterback that looked the best without any coaching was Harrison Bailey. You got the guy that transferred out there running around like a chicken with his head cut off, about to get killed. You got J.T. Shrout throwing interceptions. You got J.G. doing J.G. And then you had Harrison Bailey. And we hadn't seen Joe Milton. The fans hadn't. Not the Southeastern Conference fans that don't care about Big Ten football. We played at Indiana, the number 2 Big Ten team, with one of the crappiest UT teams, and we beat them in a bowl game. Don't care about that crap. I'm not going back and watching YouTube videos of Michigan football. I'm from Tennessee, okay? And I understand why they want Harrison Bailey. Now, like Mark in Columbus hollering it's dead. That's crazy. We went, how good a AD was Philip Fulmer? Was he the bottom 20 in ADs?
He's a Jack Kevorkian of athletic directors. Continue.
Exactly. And where does Danny White rank?
We shall see, but he definitely is higher in my mind than Philip Fulmer already. I'll tell you what, that new really redesigned utsports.com is a terrific website that Danny White and them have put together. That is a tremendous website those guys have put together. Check it out.
Unbelievable. I already checked it out. I can get seats on the 45-yard line, donation and all, $700. The only reason why I didn't, my dad's 80 years old, and we spend Saturdays watching UT sports. Now, the next thing, how buried was we, Tony? How buried was we with this NCAA whenever Dante Plowman come out, their season computers.
Yep.
Dante Plowman.
I'm talking, man. I'm telling you, that was a Kevorkian deal when Fulmer stood up there with her, and that was not good, Charlie. Not good.
And it's like Moses went to the NCAA, because how serious is it now?
Yep.
You talk about a reprieve.
Yep. The Red Sea's parting. Yep.
You talk about Lazarus
Yep.
It is gone. Don't tell Dante Plowman. And hey, big up. If I'll get on Danny White,
yep.
I gotta also give him praise for telling Dante Plowman, I wash my hands of you. I told you about this NCAA.
Yep.
And then let's see down here.
That's why I love you. No, let me say this about you, Charlie. That's why I love you. See, you've been on Danny White, but you're like I am. See, people think that when you say one thing critical or two things or three things critical, that you're always going to be critical. No. Charlie's on here right now giving Danny White love for saying to the administration, get this thing right. If you're going to pull me out of it, get it right. And that's what's going on behind the scenes. And Charlie knows that because he knows money people. Second thing,
Dante Plowman, we hired, the sales job was he's going to help us with this NCAA.
That's right. That's right.
And now Plowman won't let him do what he's
hired. Well, now you're talking. And the second thing is, you listen to Charlie now. This newly redesigned deal, the website is fantastic. This Johnny Majors Classic thing is fantastic. This really cool thing that they're doing with the Trailblazer deal is a neat thing. His fundraising initiatives are interesting. Let's give this guy a chance. Let's give old Danny a chance. I've always been in that camp. Let's give him a chance. He's a little weird. Go ahead.
I'm on a rant, Tony. I'm on the pulpit. The coaches. You go back and you look the last time we was resurrected by Johnny Majors, right? The 80s. Did he not pull us up in the 80s?
You darn tootin' he did.
Okay, you get your old programs out and you look at those team pictures, and you know what stands out? There's some athletes that stands out, but you get them old pictures out, them things. The coaches is what'll blow your mind. The level of assistant coaches that he assembled to help him build this thing is what built it, I think. And we went from Lane Kiffin, a punk and a clown, an egomaniac, you know what I mean? And then we went to Derek Dooley, a little privileged, snot-nosed brat. And then we get Bush Jones, who, as soon as he found out what fame was, he wanted to put himself up there, with the general. Yeah, it's a wonder he didn't put a statue of him out there by the general.
As an old friend of mine said, who's in his 70s, the guy even posed like the general on the back of the jumbotron. What a moron! What a moron! And Butch Jones. Let me say one thing about Butch Jones. Butch Jones was at a high school game. I'm not attacking the guy personally. It's not my style. He's out there, Charlie. He's got a security guy around him who holds his umbrella for him while he's watching a football game. Charlie, do you relate to that? Do you relate to a man that has another man holding an umbrella for him? I don't care how much money you have, you clown. You don't have a servant holding your damn umbrella. What's wrong with you? Go ahead, Charlie. My bad.
Then we went to the Gump, had no respect for his place, no respect, and now we got a head coach. And this coaching staff, now I don't have any facts here on this, but this coaching staff and this head coach, where he just tells it like it is. You know what I mean?
Damn, Charlie's still going on.
And he doesn't act like I don't know how much you know about football. He hadn't ever said that to a member of our press. This coaching staff reminds me of that Johnny, because that Johnny Majors coaching staff was with men that had a hunger, that had an intensity. And I had a football coach who say the only time is now. And that's, and I feel that. I feel that the easy way out with being a head coach at UT was to announce this white 5-star quarterback our starter. And that's not what Heupel done, because the only time is now. He went and got what he needed to get. Okay, now with the Harrison Bailey deal, for the people, I'll tell you what impresses me. It's not that he's not starting. It's the lengths they're going to keep him on this campus. I don't think they did that with Brian Maurer. And I can't help but think Harrison Bailey, I don't remember Drew Locke out here running around, you know what I mean, scampering around. Harrison Bailey getting
All right, baby,
tutelage
we're home.
from this
Get her
coaching
trailer.
staff and give him a chance to win instead of putting him out there to get beat, I think that might pay dividends. So I don't think they're writing Harrison Bailey off. I think they're working real hard to keep him in. And then that brings me to my question for you guys. And I'll shut up here in a minute, Tom. But Matt, Bayless Jones Jr., what's his 40 time? Do you know?
No, but he's, got pretty good speed. He's probably in the low 4.5s.
What?
Okay. What about Jalen Hyatt?
He's one of the faster players on the team.
Yep.
I think he's had some 4.3 times when he was in high school or at recruiting camps. He's one of the probably 3 or 5 fastest players on the team.
Yep.
I'm on the blog. I'm reading what you wrote. You wrote down here he's run a 4.31 in high school. Okay. What about Javon Payton? How slow is he?
I don't know for sure. I think over the summer he tested really high in something that I saw on Twitter where he's got really good acceleration and maybe top end speed. He's a burner too.
Jimmy Holloway.
Okay, let me see. Where can we go where we've not really been?
Holloway, yeah, but he hadn't been healthy all of fall camp, so I don't know how much we'll see him, at least early in the season.
Is there anything to Carson
4.38 laser time. All right, Brian.
You with me, Brian? Are you with him, Brian? I want to make sure Brian's it. Brian, are you with him?
Yeah, we got some really fast guys out there, like Jalen Hyatt, Bayless Jones, and a few others. So,
what's the best quarterback on the roster to get these burners the ball?
Matt?
Man, I'm tired of going that way. I don't want to go that way.
Well, obviously Milton has the most potential, and especially if you're talking about downfield passing.
That's what I'm talking
Joe
about.
Milton, but like I've said, I'd feel comfortable with any of the three.
Any of the three. Yep.
And that's our starting quarterback. The one that can get him the ball.
I want bombs away, Charlie. After what we've been through the last 3 years, I want to get vertical.
Hey,
in a hurry.
I got a question for you, Tom.
Yes.
And with those burners and this quarterback, what's Florida's biggest weak spot?
I'd be their secondary, where they've lost another member this camp, and where they were hit by departure and graduation. And the caller, Florida, right now, Charlie, he hears the intensity in your voice, and he does not like it. He does not want any. He does not want any.
That's 3 wide receivers that's running around 4.3 in the 40. Most of them in high school. Laser time. You don't hear that crap.
That's real.
High school or high skew?
High skew, and that's real, Florida, not
high
those
skew.
fake times like your guys have on your roster.
Field goes.
And the last two I got to get on is Big Josh and Barney Boy.
Yep.
Pick up your phone, call the show, because we're 2 days away from wherever you are throughout the land. It is about to be football time in Tennessee. And going out the door, I know that D. Brady's got to be upset because there's a Johnny Majors Classic. I just want him to know, don't get too upset. If he'll call your show and actually have a good call, he can get a copper card, and he can go down there to Calhoun's and order him a Philip Fulmer Classic. Go Big Orange.
Let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the Basilio Show, 54 past.
What timing? I tell you what, who sets these games up?
Which games are that?
Any game, any college football. Do you set it up in July, the year before, or 3-4 years down the road?
The athletic director, 7 year in advance, generally.
Yeah, and I don't think this was 7 year in advance. I'd like to thank Philip Fulmer for having this in the back of his mind years ago and making this to fruition. And thanks, Charlie, for pointing that out.
What? No. This was done by either Dave. It's got to be a Dave Hart deal. You mean the Pittsburgh series? That was 7 years ago. That was put on the schedule.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Into that. I'll dig into that. So Philip Fulmer had time also to kill that, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. They could have. Sure.
Didn't do that, though, did he?
No, he didn't.
Let me ask you something else. That Charlie brought up a great point. You know, he was flogging Florida secondary. I hope they're as bad as he says, but seeing's believing. How do wide receivers and ours, the real fast ones that run the 4.3s and laser time 4.31, how great are they when they run their face mask into that press coverage? They get there quick, I know, but do they generally break open after
That's a great point. Hyatt's a great example of that. Well, here's the deal, right? No, you're right. You're right, because Hyatt runs great speed, right? But in practice, he can't get off. That's why he's in the slot. I mean, it's a wonderful point. It's a wonderful point you bring up. All that speed in the world's great. Got to be able to get off press coverage at this level.
Dang it.
But here's the bottom line of the bottom line. I don't hear all the Joe Milton hate, Harrison Bailey boy, or whatever you guys call it. I think Hooker has every right to be upset. He's got more games under his belt than any of the three, and his numbers are twice as good as the starter and comparable to Harrison Bailey. What we've got is a career 56% passer. Like it or lump it. He's thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns. Like it or lump it. Out of the three in the games that they've played in their college career, he's got the less yardage per attempt than the three by a long shot, like a yard and a half.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that rating, if that means anything, I mean, evidently it does. It's at the end of every quarterback rating. He's 120. He's 125 is his career rating. The other two guys are 156 and 159.
But you know what, Brady? But you know what? What they're going to say, and what coaches have told me, and what they tell me behind the scenes is it's a new day for him, and that he is a perfect fit for this offense, and they love him. That's why they targeted him in the spring. They went and got him to be their starter. He is their starter, and I wrote today he's going to be their starter. It's not that he's going to play a game and then be supplanted. He's going to have to play 2 or 3 bad games in order to lose his job or get injured. He is going to be their starter. They've decided they're going to ride with Joe Milton this fall.
It was his job to lose ever since he got him.
That's exactly right, Brian.
So Clemson lost their starter, Ohio State's lost their starter, and Alabama's lost their starter. Florida's lost their starter, and he couldn't go to one of those teams, or maybe those teams didn't go and get him. There's a reason they didn't.
Well, Alabama had a 5-star player. Florida already had an incumbent in mind in Emory Jones, who was there, along with another kid on the roster they like. Clemson had a 5-star kid who last year put up one of the really played tremendously well in the absence of Trevor Lawrence. So they weren't in the market. And Ohio State's a football factory, so they have one stacked on top of another. I do see what you're saying, but a guy like Joe Milton at this point in time is not going to vie for time at a spot like that. He's going to come to a place like this and make his bones.
And if he would have been here in spring, I think a lot of people would be more accepting.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
Right.
You know what? Right now it's a popularity contest. He has no, it's easy to predict who that quarterback is going to be because the players are lifting him up.
Correct.
He couldn't shut that down. But let me tell you something. On these third and threes, with these critical in-your-face defensive backs and the pressure's on, we're going to have a line like I said.
Yep.
You only have to go back in the rearview mirror to see what we looked like last year.
You're right.
He's going to have pressure and throw one of those bullets. And when they start banging off their hands and pressure, all of a sudden it went from 2 months ago going, what separates? Oh, it's his throw. He's a fastballer. So now the receivers will say, well, man, if you didn't throw it that hard, I mean, that's a potential that, you know what, I hope he looks like Tarzan and plays like him too.
Brady,
SEC competition, I'm not going to believe it.
I think it's fair, and I appreciate the call. I don't think we're going to know what we have at quarterback till you see him roll out there against Florida. I think that is a fair statement because that's how you're judged here, and you play against the Southeast. To the living listener, I love you. God bless. Go Vols. The radio listener, the rest of us, let's hang on and we'll keep this thing going.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AP. Powell, Knoxville.
So you're back to regularly scheduled programming. I'm going to do my thing over here. Your thoughts on Brady's call, Matt? I think he had a very interesting. I think both Brady and Charlie had worthwhile phone calls today.
2 phone calls.
Yeah, they did. It's game week, so they came ready to play.
Yep.
It's valid concerns with Milton having touch on some of those short passes. That's been an issue, and just overthrowing receivers downfield. He did that a ton at Michigan. I mean, they're all valid concerns. You just have to hope that Heupel and this offensive staff have kind of worked with him and got some of that stuff, worked out. So it's, I mean, they're valid concerns. His receivers at Michigan had a lot of drops, and I'm not sure all of them are on the receiver because he doesn't always throw the best spiral. He's got a lot of Peyton Manning wobble in his balls.
And the other thing they're trying to get across to him, just talking to people, is you don't got to throw a fastball all the time. Learn to finesse the ball in our offense. Our offense is going to have open receivers. Trust our offense. Don't hold on to the ball till the last second.
Yeah.
And the other thing that they're going to do that Michigan didn't do with him is you don't always have to throw the ball. Tuck it and run. You heard yesterday Josh Heupel was asked about what he wanted from a quarterback. And he said one of the things we like is somebody can make plays with their feet. That's why Harrison Bailey ultimately is not a fit for this thing. And Matt, people don't want to hear that, but ultimately he's not. Because they want a guy, and Josh Heupel said it again yesterday. We want somebody that, when the thing breaks down, tuck that thing, get out of there, and get what you can get.
Turn right.
A lot of staff say to a quarterback, stay in there. Stay. Look downfield. They say, hey, if play's not there, get out of there and go get what you can get. And here's the thing with that guy. If you can get Joe Milton freelancing and get him to go down to Florida and get ahead of steam, and you can get a score early in that game with him out there running around, you can do like Josh Dobbs did 5 years back. You want to go ahead and laugh at that? He can get out there. He can win a game like that, running around, running over people.
Hopefully he has a coaching staff that doesn't blunder in the last 10 minutes of the game.
Well, at Michigan, they wouldn't let him do that. At Michigan, if he did that, and we had the call earlier. Who was it, Matt, that was talking about the analytics? There was one of our guests on here.
It was Dan.
Dan, he was talking about the guy from Michigan he talked to was a big analytics guy. At Michigan, they weren't going to let him run around. The analytics guys, they don't want that. If you're every pass you throw, this is what the mathematical formula. Shut the hell up. Let the guys play. To the analytics geeks in baseball, shut up. Trust your eyes. Trust your heart. Trust your soul. Trust yourself. How about that for analytics? There's not a computer that's been designed that's greater than my mind. How you like those apples? Let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome into our next call, Basilio Show. Get on in here.
Hey, Tony, it's Chad in Houston.
Hey, Chad in Houston, what's up?
Hey, about this Joe Milton thing, you got to understand something. I watched a lot of tape of him at Michigan, too, and, I felt Joe was at his best when they were allowing him to run.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that only happened in the first 2-3 games of the season, and they forced him, it seemed like, to put him in the pocket to make plays, and he just didn't look comfortable. And we know if in that situation, if there's no threat for a quarterback to make plays with his feet, that puts your receivers even in more difficult spot of trying to get open. And I just don't think they put him in a good enough position at Michigan to succeed. And really, what quarterback has done well at Michigan since Harbaugh's been there?
See you fail in your journey.
So, with that said, we talked about, or you guys talked about Florida's defensive back and Milton's ability to create plays with his legs. This is not a good recipe for Florida, because when you're playing a quarterback that can make plays with his legs, that's going to put that defense playing more man to man. and find the quarterback. And what that does is that's going to put those receivers a lot of one-on-one in a man-to-man situation. And with their speed, it could be a good recipe for Tennessee.
Matt Dixon agrees with you. Matt, you agree with that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The whole point of the offense, besides the tempo, is to make teams cover the entire field. Receivers have really wide splits where they're literally a step or two from the sideline at the start, and it's designed to get those one-on-one matchups and get their playmakers the ball in space.
Yeah, and it makes those, third down and 3 a lot more manageable when you're spreading the field like that too, which is going to take pressure off our offensive line.
Yep.
One other thing, I want to go back and touch on this Nebraska deal, because I was watching Nebraska this weekend. That's how bad I was missing football. And I think, man, that number 2 quarterback they got, Martinez.
Yes.
I think he could be JG's twin brother. They look just alike in the face. I about fell over when I saw him.
Say the same shit over
He's
and
JG
over.
with some top-end speed. That's what he is.
Oh, they've matched on those like ancestry DNA sites. They're a match.
Oh yeah. Oh no. He's got the howdy body language of Garantano down. That whole after he throws the dump pass on 3rd and 15 the other day around midfield, the guy gets tackled behind the sticks. He's slumping off the field and he's hanging his head and he's over there sulking, and you're going, like, are you a brother from another mother? Like, where did you two guys come from? And by the way, we were involved with both of them. If I'm not mistaken, Martinez was committed here. It wasn't even like we were recruiting him. He was committed here at one time. We could have had both those jokers on our roster.
Oh, no offense.
1A, 1B.
Yep.
Hey, one more thing. I feel sorry for this Nebraska fan. I mean, good God. I mean, I can feel the pain. If I'm Nebraska, I'm on my hands and knees in front of the SEC.
Turn right.
And begging to join this league. I think that's the only shot that they got to recoup from that program. It really, kind of like Tennessee, they don't really have, what are they recruiting to before? I mean, what brings in recruiting to Nebraska? It's out in the middle of nowhere. Other than tradition, they don't have anything. I'd be doing whatever I could to get the SEC with Oklahoma and Texas. And you have Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, and the West End.
Yep.
2-8 every year.
2-8 every year.
Yeah, but it gives you, at least gives you maybe some recruiting, at least a recruiting boost, short term, that can kind of give you a little bit. Right now, they're just a dying program. So, all right, guys, that's all I got. Talk to you later.
Thank you, brother. And the thing that really hurt my heart yesterday was to see Scott Frost say, when our opponent came out lined up the way they were, we had no answers. I mean, look, I'm not even a Nebraska fan. That hurts my heart.
That's a major red flag. When not only is it true, but when you admit it at a press conference, I mean that really says a lot about your coaching staff. Recruiting's not really their problem, kind of like it hasn't really been our problem. They typically get a top 25, top 20 class almost every year.
Yeah,
probably
for us is
more
how
money.
a lot of their best players have transferred out
think
for whatever reason, and then they just haven't developed guys. I mean, talent's not the issue at Nebraska. They still recruit really well, especially compared to that division in the Big Ten. I think they might be the best recruiter in it. I guess it'd be Wisconsin, might be, but I mean Wisconsin doesn't rely on talent. I mean they can compete in that division if they had just a semi-competent program.
Have you guys seen, speaking of transfers, how good of a camp To's had, unfortunately? Apparently he's blowed up this summer. That really bothers me, but what are you going to do?
He's the quarterback of their defense, Tom.
Shit.
Which is what I was saying all last year. I don't know why our fans suddenly wanted to say the guy sucked just because he was misaligned and had to get Jeremy Banks and Kavaris Crouch lined up.
Such a good point.
Pre-snap all last year. I mean, he's going to look like $1 million down there, and he's probably going to be the SEC Player of the Week when they play us. He'll probably get a couple of picks on slant.
Disgusting.
Just to stab us right in the heart.
Absolutely disgusting.
It is.
Did you guys see where former LSU running back Trey Bradford, he went into the portal today. He was a kid that transferred to Oklahoma, but they're so stacked in the backfield, he looked at that and said, "Peace. Our running back, Matt, that's at Oklahoma, what kind of year is he going to have?" That highly unlikable Spencer Rattler out there.
Yeah, old twat.
Oh, he'll have a really big year. I don't know if he'll have like monster numbers, but he'll have a monster impact in games, and he'll lead them to the playoffs for sure, and be one of their key offensive weapons. And then Ty Chandler at North Carolina is the same way. I think he's their kind of premier back. You know, he had a
Andy.
Slightly disappointing career here.
He did.
I always thought he could have been better than he was.
Yep.
And he wasn't utilized properly. But,
nope.
I mean, he's playing a key role for a top 10 North Carolina team.
Bradford, there's speculation out there that by walking out, he's interested in returning to LSU where he could be immediately eligible to play. So he went from one place to another and back to another place, Bri, only in 2021. And he could be immediately eligible to play. It's like saying,
I don't want to be here, but you're my only choice. So.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
Yeah, not very good.
Joey Gatewood, who went from Auburn to Kentucky, when he lost out on that job, he transferred to UCF, and he's eligible immediately with Malzahn. Now, he's obviously not going to play, but he already bounced too.
You talk about a guy that sucks. No offense to him. Let's go back to our phones. I'm betting against Joey Gatewood. Let's get our next call in.
I bet against any Gus Malzahn quarterback.
That guy blows.
Oh, man.
That's a good point. Hello and welcome into our next caller.
Tony Gregg from Atlanta.
Hey, Greg, welcome in.
Hey, man, I was just reading an article.
You can make up enough
about,
time speeding.
Big Joe Milton. It was from one of his family friends, also quarterback coach, things like that. It was saying that last year in the second game on the third play, he hit his thumb on a helmet and tore ligaments. He tried to play through that, didn't say anything to anybody about it. The team knew, Michigan knew, that he tore ligaments in his thumb, and they did not announce it at all. They didn't say he had a problem at all. So after the first game, basically, he was playing with torn ligaments where he could not even hold the football correctly. And they kept trotting him out there. Well, it was confirmed when he was walking around in January with a cast on his throwing hand that he had surgery on his thumb to fix the ligaments. So that could be why he didn't have very much accuracy last year and had 56% completion percentage. He said he couldn't feel the football at all. And if you go back and look at the highlights of that second game, you can see right when he did it.
You know, we've talked about, is that Donovan Dooley that's quoted in that article? Because we had him on and he was saying the same thing. That's his quarterback's coach.
And there's another guy on there who actually, his son is a big-time 2023 recruit out of Florida. And they're family friends. So they were talking to him, and they actually said in high school that Joe was not a runner at all. He was a pocket passer.
Yep.
But he's incorporated speed into his game now.
Oh, good.
When you're as big, and when you're as big, and I mean big, and as fast as he is, come on now, let's do this thing.
Yeah, they said he's actually, got the speed recently in his last couple of years in college.
Oh, now it's 80.
That's just not something that he had much of when he was in high school. So it's an added thing. And I think one of your previous callers was saying that they kind of had to make him the quarterback because the team gravitates to him. Well, that's because he has the it factor. When you have the it factor, that's what happens. Charismatic. You can't start anybody else if the team doesn't follow him. That's what a leader is, and he's a leader.
Amen.
And I could be a little bit seeing out of my orange colored glasses.
Sure we are.
I'm
Hey.
excited about Thursday.
Why not? Hey, if you can't get excited now, after what we've been through, we've been freed, man. We've been freed from really boring football.
Get mowed.
Yes, and that coach.
No, it's a different kind.
And that horrible head coach. Let's say it. And that horrible head coach, Jeremy Pruitt, who's a joke. Terrible hire. Terrible. Yes.
Who has a worse old non-inventive offense than Jim Chaney? I mean, the guy.
Horrible. Horrible AD. A horrible OC. Horror show. Horrible.
He presided over one of the most
I don't want to say
efficient
it can't be
UT offenses of all
we've got
time,
a
Tony.
new quarterback coming out there with a new offense.
Yeah.
That's what I've been telling people.
Listen, I'm bowing my head when I say thy name, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
That's what I've been telling people.
God bless. Greg in Atlanta. Let's get our next call in. Extra time, overtime, your time, my time. It's our time. Hello and welcome into our next call.
Tony, look at the shelf speaker, buddy.
Oh gosh, here we go.
You wasn't on speaker on WIP.
Here we go.
No, I wasn't on speaker on WIP.
Nope.
But
can I ask you, Titans Bill? Me and Matt were talking. We were doing low over because we were doing over unders in the first, like some prop bets. We're gonna do some more of those tomorrow. But Titans Bill, let's go back. I'm gonna ask Brian and Matt here, and let's see who's right. Okay, we're gonna go around the room. Can you sit tight for a second and let me ask these guys a question?
I certainly can, buddy.
How many different radio shows? This counts out of market, in market, all radio shows. Has Titans Bill called? Just different shows, not how many times he's called. But how many different shows has Titans Bill called? Different outlets. Like this one, Russell, Sports, that's 3. How many different outlets has Titans Bill called in the last 3 weeks? Brian Hartman, I'll start with you. What's your number? In light of his WIP call.
I'll say he's called 13 different ones.
All right. Titans Bill, are you totaling this up in your mind?
I would say
I am still taking you off a speakerphone, Tony.
No, are you totaling? Don't interfere with the bit here, Bill. Are you totaling this in your mind? Yes or no?
No, I'm not.
Do the math. Whoa. Is that Josh Heupel? I gotta get Dr. Danny on here to diagnose your cough. Matt, was he coughing for effect there, Matt, or was that a real allergic cough? What do you think, Matt?
That might have been for effect. He's trying to buy some time to count on his thinking. I'm gonna say called 8.
All right, Titans Bill. One guy says 13. One guy says 8. I'm gonna say 6. Titans Bill. I feel like you've had a 6 burger.
I'd say, Tony, you're right, because I've called Rich Eisen.
That's 1.
At least twice.
All right.
I tried to get a hold of 97.1 out of Detroit.
That counts.
They were very rude to me.
Okay, that's 2. What'd they say to you when you called in?
Well, we had a disagreement about Casey Mize. I said, well, look, one thing that makes Casey Mize so good, he played in maybe the greatest conference in all the sports, the SEC. And of course, you know how they are over there, Tony. They're Big Ten. Once Big Ten, always Big Ten. Over there in Detroit.
So that's 2. Rich Eisen and that show in Detroit. What else you called? You called WIP?
All right. I called WIP, and I also called my other favorite talk show host from Toledo.
Who's that?
Times.
Who's that?
Anthony Bellino.
All right, that's 4.
What?
You called me.
That's it.
No, you've called me.
Called you.
That's 5.
And I've called you several times.
How about Dubsy? Have you called Dubsy?
I haven't called Dubsy of late.
What about Sports Mammal?
I haven't called them of late.
You're stuck on 5. Okay, very good. Are you mad at Dubsy? Are you mad at Dubsy?
No, I'm not mad at Dubsy, but I just don't want to have it out with Bear.
Have you called Clone? What do you think of Bear? What is this Bear guy? What do you think of him?
Well, one time he asked me, what's wrong with water polo? And I'm over here thinking, I don't know what's wrong with water polo. I made the comment to Dubsy on why the Pac-12 has won so many national championships. It's because several of the national championships they have won are from non-revenue sports that fans here that really could care less about. Do you think that anybody could care less about water polo? No. Do you, Tony? No.
You think water polo will ever surpass the popularity of John Calipari on Kentucky's campus?
Brian going after you, Titans Bill, and you giggling at it.
So is Bear a big water polo guy?
I guess he is. I can remember I said to Bear, what's wrong with synchronized swimming? Even though Esther Williams popularized it. Maybe the great synchronized swimmer of all time, Tony.
I find you to be incredible. We've called you Random Bill in the past. When you start, who's the greatest synchronized swimmer of all time?
Esther Williams.
Dino thought it was Esther Roll. He just sent me a text saying, no, that was Esther Roll.
No, it's Esther Williams, the late, great Esther Williams.
Well, Bino, you need to check your facts. Busting
The
Esther
late
Roll.
sexy Esther Williams.
Just tapped us out of the
She was
game.
sexy.
In her prime, she was hot.
A synchronized swimmer? Those people don't even meat on their bones. No offense to them. Titans Bill, I kind of love you.
Well, thank you, buddy.
In fact, I think I
Go
love
ahead.
you. Who made it?
The Partridge Family. The late David Cassidy.
Where would you put that in the Partridge Family pantheon of songs, Titans Bill?
I would put it number one. But I am more of a Shirley Jones fan than I am David Cassidy.
Brian, are you a I Think I Love You fan or no? Where do you fall on that?
No, really, no.
What? I mean, are you kidding me? You know what David Cassidy, what happened to him, Titans Bill, is he thought he was a serious artist like a lot of those guys do. Here we go, Titans Bill. Feel free to sing along, Titans Bill. Sounds like a Pittsburgh polka. Ready?
And right in the middle, I don't know who put it in the 50s. But I think the actresses that really got the most publicity in that decade were people like Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly, and Jane Mansfield.
Yep.
And I don't believe neither one of them could compete with those three.
When Shirley Jones busted out. Oh, come on. When she busted out in Oklahoma, Titans Bill, there's nothing like that. Come on, man. I got credibility over here.
Yeah, but even though she did great in Oklahoma, of course, she won an Academy Award when she starred in Elmer Gantry.
Titans Bill, I love you. What was the synchronized swimmer? One more time. Give me her name one more. Esther Roll, right?
Esther Williams.
Titans Bill, love you. By the way, Bino says that the caller was referencing Joe Rexroad's latest article in The Athletic. Coach was A.G. Wasim, Winter Garden, Florida. Long-term Milton advisor. A.G. Wasim.
That's a great name.
Great name.
I ain't messing with someone with the name of A.J. Wasim.
No. W-A-S-E-E-M, if Bino's to be believed. Let's go back to our phones. And Bino is to be believed. It's been a while, Bryce, since we've had Bino on here, isn't it?
Just the other day.
When do we have Bino on?
Monday.
Oh. Let's go back to... Was he here yesterday?
Yeah.
Let's get our next call in here. Bino, Cilio's kid, kind of. That's how fried I am. Hello and welcome in. Wasn't Bino gone for a while before that? Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, he was gone for a week. He was at the game last night.
That's what I thought. I'm still trying to make that up in my mind. Bino's missing.
Playing softball yesterday over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm still trying to make that up. Hello and welcome into our next call. Let's get our next call in. You're on Cilio.
Who we got?
Hey, Tony, it's Joshy Boy.
Under Wang. Joshy boy, you sent me a rather concerned text last night, middle of the night. Would you care to share that with a living listener, the rather concerned text you fired out last night?
Okay, so the Braves were playing the Dodgers last night, and they lost. And your Phillies beat the Washington Nationals.
Shit.
And Tony, I think your Phillies are going to sweep the Nationals, and I think the Braves are going to get swept by the Dodgers. And I think the Braves are going to blow the lead in the NL East, and your Phillies will win the division.
How are my Phillies going to win the division, Josh, when they can't field the baseball? How's that going to happen?
I just think they're going to win the division, Tony, because I think Atlanta is going to have an epic meltdown.
Joshy boy, it might be one of the greatest things you've ever told me.
Why is that?
Because I don't believe it. The Sillies can't play, Joshy boy.
I don't know. We'll see. We still got September left, and like you said, Philly has a pretty favorable schedule.
Yeah, but you guys have the third easiest schedule. I thought you guys had a real difficult schedule. I think ours is the easiest, and yours is like fourth easiest. But the question is, are the Redlegs of Eric Waddell, Brian, going to stave off the Phillies, Padres, and whomever, and St. Louis? Are they going to get their heads out of their rear and start winning? They could be 5 to 8 games up in the wild card, Bri, on the Padres if they would have taken advantage over the last several weeks.
Yeah, they lost, I think, I want to say 5 of their last 7 games.
What are they doing?
And they haven't hit the ball at all the last couple games.
Baseball is such a weird sport, Josh. We won 4 in a row.
They can come and go. They're hot and then they're not.
For Joshy boy, we played total garbage, Joe. You play Arizona and Washington back-to-back. Those are 2 quad A baseball teams, if that.
Yeah, I agree, Tony, with that, but we'll just have to see how the Braves do in the rest of September. But
Braves are in Colorado this weekend.
Yeah, Colorado.
Hey, that Colorado team at home, you seen their splits? They're 21 games over 500 in their building, and they are straight garbage away from it.
Wow. Yeah, they got a 4-game series in Colorado coming up.
Yikes, but, Joshy boy. That's all I got to say to you is yikes.
Oh, Joshy.
My first question is
Wake
for Matt.
him up
Matt, how do you
when
feel about this
September
Thursday
ends.
Bowling Green? What, in your opinion, would have to be a really good performance for Tennessee to win? How much would you be comfortable for Tennessee winning by?
At least 30.
What an incredible caller.
At least 30. I want to see the offense light up the scoreboard, get into the 60s, at least the 50s, preferably 60s, and just kind of look confident. You know, are you getting lined up properly? Are you having substitution, problems on defense? And just little things like that to see if we look like we're organized and well coached.
Yeah. And Tony, did Florida call in today?
Florida has not called in as of yet. Do you have a special message for Florida?
Yeah. Florida, after we take care of business against Bowling Green and win the key game against Pittsburgh and we roll Tennessee Tech, we are coming in to Gainesville to whip back Florida Gator butt. Have a good day. Go Vols.
Yes. Get your ass
Get him,
whipped
Joshy.
up around your shoulders, Florida. Get used to it.
I love PG trash talk. Love it.
Back to the phones we go. Doesn't need to be elevated above PJ. It's great. Trash talk for the whole family. Absolutely love Joshy boy. Why can't this open the file? Why is this thing trying to make me cuss out loud? Let's go to the phones. How am I going to read that? I guess I could read that. Garza Law up all night. As soon as Tennessee and BGSU go final. I'm already roached. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, I was wanting to talk to Roger Davis over there and tell him.
What?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're on like a speaker or something. But I love your bringing it at me. You're like on a speaker. Said something about Roger though. He's getting ready to call Roger out. Did you guys hear that? He's going to hear Roger. That's that guy that always gets on Roger about letting it play out. Have you guys ever heard him? He says Roger wants to let it always play out.
Yeah, you gotta let it play out.
Gotta let it play out. That's what Jimmy told me. Can never take an opinion on sports radio. Gotta let it play out. What are you doing there? You can't have an opinion on sports radio. Well, you gotta let it play out. Gotta let what play out?
He just doesn't want you to have an opinion of firing a coach, Roger.
No. If Roger had his way, Brian, you'd have 5 coaches all at once. Like, Dooley would be over there, along with Jones. All those morons would still be there. Pruitt would still be there. Could you win if you stacked all of our loser coaches, one on top of the other on top of the other? And
obviously they did that.
And
I still,
well, that's tough.
I've thought about similar to that.
Yeah.
If you like combine them all into one.
Yes.
You had Pruitt as like your defensive coordinator. You have Butch as basically your off-field recruiter. I guess you let Dooley call offensive plays and maybe do in-game stuff because he was actually fairly decent, at least compared to the other two in terms of in-game stuff. If you combined all of them, like the best of all of them, could you compete for an SEC title? I think you probably could, but it would be a challenge.
Lane Kiffin could be dating coordinator for everybody else on the staff. Not social media coordinator, but social coordinator.
Sociopath.
And what about?
It'd be tough choosing between the Chico Canales guy or Chris Winkie as your quarterback coach.
Saw where Chico got a job the other day. What about Brady Hoke, chief meteorologist? Let's go back to the phones. When Brady Hoke took that football.
Either Brady Hoke or
like
Jimmy
men of
Brumbaugh
the
for
porch.
defensive line. That's a tough one. Who was that? Kevin Beard. He can be like a player. He can be like a player coach, like the South Carolina guy, because Beard showed up in practice with cleats and gloves on.
Yep.
And you could have Will Friend over there doing something. There's got to be a role for him.
He could be the guy that could manage a cafeteria for him.
And Brian Niedermeyer?
Brian Niedermeyer could, no doubt, would be in charge of the finances.
Anyway, he's the guy who goes and picks up all their food.
We ought to do that.
Mostly at McDonald's.
We ought to do that in the summer. Go back and get a lot of these past staff members. Because that Beard guy, is the Beard guy that wanted to throw hands during practice with, was that Jawan Jennings? When he bowed up on
Jawan Jennings would have killed him.
Yes. That Kevin Beard guy.
Could you imagine being a coach and trying to fight one of your players, and not just any player, but like the meanest guy on the team?
People couldn't believe it that were there. They were like, "It's a college coach engaging a guy like that. Like you're gonna have a fist fight." Now, who was the head coach then?
That was Butch.
Those are great days. Butchie had
that's when we had people falling on helmets.
I knew Butch was wonderful.
Had that OC he brought in there that Butch brought in there last year.
God, Butch was so bad.
Larry Scott.
Butch came very close to getting this thing over the top, too. Came very close to it. Let's go back to our phones.
I think front porch.
It shows
like
you how
when
good
you hear,
the Tennessee brand is.
Porch is.
Hello and welcome
Southern.
to our next call, 38.
It always sounds southern. But when you add that southern twang to front
Raj,
porch.
that last caller was
porch.
getting ready to say your name.
I think front.
I heard him.
What was that about?
I don't know.
Hey, Roger!
I do.
I cut him off, Raj.
Some bitch.
What?
I cut that caller off.
Why?
So I was protecting you.
What? For what? He gave a chance. He don't know if he would do it. He gave a chance to say much. I was kind of rude, Tony. Really rude.
Roger, he used your first and last name and was getting ready to go into that whole rigmarole about how you want to give everybody a chance, and he don't want you to give everybody a chance, and he was going to do that whole rigmarole again where he attacks you. What do you mean?
Tony, you should have Tony, you had to let the call play out.
Yeah. You assuming, Tony, you gotta let the, I want to hear that guy talk. You assuming you did it. You don't know for sure. You gotta let stuff, you gotta wait that stuff.
So you want to hear that guy rip you, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, well, hang on, Raj. Let's see if I can get this call. Let's see if I can get this caller in here. Hello and welcome in. Is this our caller?
Yeah, it's me, and I want Mr. Roger and Jimmy Hyde to transfer down to Vandy or Kentucky because they need to get this losing out of here. That's let it play out. They've already killed our program down here with that junk. They love losing. That's it.
They love losing. Brian, do you have a thought on that? The whole letting it play out crowd. They love losing.
They like loser coaches to hang around longer than they should.
I mean, here's a good point, case in point, Matt. If they would have fired Pruitt earlier than they fired him, Matt, we probably could have, saved our recruiting a little bit. Even if you hire the same coach, Matt, if you do it 6 weeks earlier, like John Adams said on here.
Yeah, probably, but you would have to have kept the NCAA investigation kind of in-house and not let that leak out. Otherwise, it would have been a tough sell to recruits anyway.
To our caller, why are you ripping Roger, though? Why Roger?
Because we all need to get on board. He's not on board. He wants to lose, and he needs to start learning how to win. He's just a loser. I mean, can you imagine him being down at Florida and saying, let's just let it play out when we got 3 wins? You got to get rid of a coach if he ain't no good, and that's for Heupel, too. If he can't win, he's going to need to get out, too. I think he'll be all right, but we're going to have to see.
So we're trying to teach Roger how to be a winner, basically, is your point here, sir.
I'm trying to teach him how to think like a winner.
Well, that's good, Brian. Let's see if
he loves to lose.
Well, he wanted to hear your phone call. He wanted you to come on here and rip him. He wanted to know why I didn't cut you off. And let me ask Roger. Roger, should I cut this gentleman off?
No. I mean, he's wrong, but let him stop.
Roger, he's basically calling you a loser. I mean, my Rona to me.
He's wrong. He's wrong. I say he's wrong. He's 100% wrong.
He's calling you a loser, though. I mean, he said you have a losing mentality.
No, I'm not a loser. And no, I'm not a loser at all. I don't know what you talking about. I'm not a loser at all. You're wrong. I mean, say you're wrong, but you're wrong by saying that.
You can tell him he's wrong, Raj. What do you mean you don't know they tell him he's wrong?
Yeah, you're wrong.
That's why I cut him off, Raj, because he was being a clown.
Yeah. Oh, is he off now?
No, he's right there. He's just being silent, Raj.
Yeah, I
don't like the way you're treating me.
He don't like the way you're treating him, Raj.
Well, I mean, it's not true. We're saying I'm not a loser. You gotta let that play out. Can't just.
Oh, Roger, Roger, I'm trying to defend you. You and this letting it play out nonsense.
Yeah, that's
I'm trying to defend you, Roger. Roger, true or false? We should have fired Jeremy Pruitt a lot sooner than we did.
No.
Oh, God, Roger.
No.
Roger, I'm trying so hard to defend you.
If it wasn't for him cheating, he'd be probably through here, through here. Cheating, what game fired Tony? Fired.
He's on the cheating side of town, Raj.
And he was a bad
he can't cheat.
He still stunk as a coach and everything.
Oh, yeah. He would be here if he wouldn't cheat, but he cheated. That's what happened, Tony. What happened?
I'm getting off here. I ain't listening to him cry all day.
Thank you.
I'm not crying. You know what you talking about? I'm not crying. Anyway, Tony, but Tony, I liked it. Well, first I just want to say, hey, my buddy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Roger. Hope you are as well.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Matt, you think it's good? You think Josh is smart by? I know Josh he named his daughter yesterday. You think it's smart? Think he's smart doing that? He's smart. Smart.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to have a starter. Like you might as well name him once the team kind of knows and everyone has an idea who it's going to be. There's no point in keeping it secret. I don't, there's not any nuclear codes that you get by not, naming your starter and kind of trying to trick your opponent. I think that's all just stupid. So yeah, I think it was a good move to name him starter.
Okay. Yeah, Tony, the thing about for Al, certain situations you gotta let stuff. Well, you gotta weigh on stuff because Tony, if you're similar on everything, like say I don't know, sure I'm trying to. You gotta let stuff play out because Tony, if you assume stuff, and what happens if you try to, I don't know, get say a job or get a house? You assume that house is good. At the time you say, I want the house, I'm gonna get it, and you say you assume it's good, and you get it, and it's not good. Then what, Tony? Then what? Then what you do? You assume the house is good, and you get it, and you like it, Does that make any sense to you?
Absolutely, Raj, and that's what's scaring me.
Oh, really? Oh,
that made sense to me, Raj, and that is a scary proposition, buddy.
Yeah. So so certain stuff is certain situations, you can't assume you can, but you can't. So, so y'all stayed away that on him. So game Thursday night. Y'all getting more excited. Y'all getting more excited, but I can't wait to see Josh. Can't wait to see Josh there playing. And Tony, I like how Josh said that. He's excited about seeing the new. He's excited, Tony, about the first game. He's happy too, and the players. And you think, Tony, do you think the players have bought into Josh and his staff, Tony?
Oh, they bought in. They bought in, Raj. They love this guy. They really want to play for him, and they love this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to get the taste of what's going on here the last several years out of their mouths, Roger.
Yeah.
And they want to prove they can play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think they're they're confident that they're better than people think they are as well. Especially the upperclassmen feel that way about this team.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, Raj. Like somebody said earlier.
Yeah.
We're not going to know really until we see these guys go to Florida. Now we're going to get a better idea when we play Pittsburgh. Here's the thing, Matt, Pittsburgh didn't sound, and Bri, Pittsburgh did not sound formidable when our guest came on here last hour, Bri. Pittsburgh they don't tremendously scare me right now after having our guest.
Here's the bottom line.
Yep.
They're a middle of the pack ACC program.
And 40 guys, Tony called into your show. He sounds like he's a nice guy and everything, but he's a nice guy.
Nothing, Raj.
How's he? No, but I mean, 40 ain't played the game yet. They play Miami.
Raj gone my style.
Play somebody easy first, and then play Alabama, and then hopefully. I do hope that 40 can beat Alabama. Hopefully, I'm with him. Hopefully,
what are Florida's first three games, Matt, before they play us?
Well, they open with Florida Atlantic and Whistle Taggart. I know that.
Whistle Taggart.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about they play South Florida?
Then the second game is South Florida. That's right. And then the third game
Alabama
is when they get pulled apart and ripped apart.
By the way, have you seen where South Florida is calling Willie Taggart the Haggerty family head football coach?
What?
Matt, have you seen that?
I saw something about it. I didn't really read much into it.
What's the Haggerty family, Brian? What is that?
There's a family who donated a bunch of money to put their name on the title of the head football coach.
What? What?
It's the most cringeworthy, really one of the worst ideas I've ever seen.
So it's like as bad as that last segment we just did, where Raj just rebuffed that guy. Raj, I'm proud of you. Can't get worse than that, Raj said. When you rebuff that caller.
Oh yeah, I had this Tony. I couldn't let him. I couldn't let him with me and not.
Raj, I'm gonna say this to you. Raj, I'm gonna say this to you. You've grown as a caller.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you pushed back on him.
Yeah.
And I think you whipped his tail, Raj. How you like those apples?
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of you, Raj. I was. Now I can't show. I gotta show impartiality, right? So I can't show.
Roger, say that guy was the loser today.
Yeah, Roger.
He was the loser today.
Roger made him a loser.
Yeah.
And sir, we don't have to let that call play out because Roger whipped your ass.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Thank you, Roger. You whipped his candy ass, Roger. That's what you did on here.
Tony, and
I'm proud of you, Raj. I'm proud of the job you just did with him.
Well, thanks.
Roger 316. Let it play out.
Yes, let it play out.
Yeah, and Tony, Tony, that time the guy, before the guy calls in to talk to y'all, can you ask him how you think he's going to do against Alabama game? I don't know how y'all feel about that, but can you ask him for me about how you think we're going to do against Alabama? I'm curious what he says about that game.
Roger, let me ask you something.
Okay.
How do you think Florida's going to do against Alabama, Raji?
I think they can do. They can do good against Alabama.
You would.
They can do. A chance.
Gotta let it play out.
Yeah, they play out. You know.
Roger, who do you want to win that? Roger, who do you want to win that game?
For the game, I do Florida. I want Florida to win. Yeah, I can't. I like Alabama, so
it's logical.
I want Florida to win. I want Florida to win.
You actually think you don't like something, Roger?
The what now?
Yeah, Brian, even Roger doesn't like Alabama. Nobody likes Alabama. Roger, Alabama fans are tired of Alabama. The guy that wears the coin ring is tired of Alabama.
Oh.
Everybody's tired of Alabama, really? Roger. Brian, where you been? Nick Saban's tired of it. They're all tired of it.
And also, Matt, you think that after this game Thursday night, you think we know more about our team as we play the first game? Think we have more, but think we know some more stuff. Learn some stuff about our team. Know more about our team as we play the first game. Matt, Thursday night after it's over.
Yeah, we'll have a better idea, and not really a complete idea. I'll be kind of curious to see how many snaps certain guys get. You know, who are the first guys off the bench in the rotations. But really just want to see the offense and really see Joe Milton live. That'll be a lot of fun. You know, I think we'll learn a whole lot from that Pittsburgh game. I know Tony had talked about the Florida game. I think we'll have a really good idea about our team after Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that seems pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Put the ass into your cruiser out in the middle of the interstate.
Let's go on the car.
State highway, whatever.
Go, hey, buddy. You talk to y'all. You have a good one, hey.
Thank you, Raj. Raj, I think you're closing the show today because I got to do a commercial here real quick. Matt or Bri, do either one of you have any final thoughts? As I found both of you to be terrific today. It's exciting. This is here, guys. It's exciting. There's a huge amount of games Thursday night. Have you all seen that? It's huge.
Well, this is really significant that Roger admitted he didn't like something. You never could get him to admit that earlier. And
Roger has
finally said it. Roger's got an edge to him today.
Roger bullied that phone call.
Yeah,
he bullied that guy off the air. He's like, look, man, don't be saying that about me. And you do have to let it play out. I'm sensible, and you're a moron. Roger ripped him. Which I'm proud of Roger. So.
Yeah, well, my final thought, we're talking about Nebraska earlier. I wonder if, since Heupel took over for him at UCF and he kind of got a great first-hand look at that program he built and what he left him, I wonder if there's anything Heupel can take from Scott Frost's kind of failures at Nebraska that can help him here at Tennessee. Take two similar type jobs, a big step up. I wonder if there's anything that Heupel can take. Maybe a small detail or maybe something that Scott Frost that worked at UCF that hasn't worked at Nebraska that maybe Heupel might be hesitant to do here now. I'd be curious to know that if there's something that, because that's a real mystery how that thing hadn't worked out there. I think I saw the stat where Frost would have to go, it's like 37-1 in his next 38 games just to have the same record that Jim Harbaugh does at Michigan. And that's just crazy.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Well, he won't be having the same record as Joe Harbaugh at Michigan after his next 38 games.
Joe Harbaugh.
I'll go out on a limb and say that.
Well, that's a high limb.
Are you not going to let it play out?
Yeah, Bri, what's the matter with you?
I need to play it out. Yeah, you're right, Matt.
Didn't you hear what Roger just said?
How many points is Oklahoma going to score? Oklahoma might score 70 on them here in a couple of weeks.
And the sad thing about that deal is they were forced to do that. He did not want to do it. He wanted to get out of it. And they were forced to do it.
That's probably a red flag right there, that you got a coach that thinks so little of has so little confidence that he wants to get out of a series.
Yep.
That tells me everything.
Well, I love you guys very much.
Stay out there.
Peace on your streets.
Next time we talk, it's game day.
Game day, baby. It'll be game day. I got to do a commercial here if you want to stick around and watch. In the meantime, I got to do some business. Tennessee fans all over the place, man. When I was in the Northeast this past week, where I'm going back in a couple weeks, because my son's playing golf up there, and I'm not gonna miss that. But just between me being the fence post, I'm getting ready to log a lot of miles. Aside from doing the 24-hour extravaganza coming up, trying to see if I can drive myself into the ground. I think I can. I think I've got a pretty good plan to not be here by November. See if I can succeed. Tell your friends you knew me and you love me. We have a great program lined out for you today. We're going to take a look-see at the Pittsburgh Panthers. Also, Dangerous Dan is going to join us. Danny Boy Harrelson, the danger of Dan Harrelson will join. But the goal here is to drive myself into the ground, and I'm going to see if I can succeed. Laura says, you look terrible. Thank you for the compliment, sweetie. My name's Basilio. It's absolutely beautiful to be alive and well with you. We're working up the kinks, as it were. Not to be confused with Day and Ray Davies.
Miles separates us from 7. Just back close to that 3.25. Once we sleep, hopefully when we wake up, we'll have a bunch more money made from our tour items. shit. Wasn't paying attention. Baby, we're here.
You've arrived. It's been my honor and duty to see you through this mission.
No. Skip it. Don't care. We don't need the XP. $73,796. Hell yeah. I'll be right back. All right. Now, one thing I want to look at real quick. Where are all the truck dealers? How many trailers we got? 9? Yeah, 9. Okay. Nice. Alright, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special project we got to get started on. More information in the coming days. But thank you for joining.